I'm Eric Reeser. Victor Wembanyama willed the Spurs to a Game 7 in the NBA's Western Conference Finals. Wemby's 20 points, 10 rebounds, powered San Antonio past Oklahoma City 118-91 last night in Game 6. Thunder are going to host Game 7 tomorrow night at 8. Winner in that one will host the New York Knicks in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. That'll be next Wednesday at 8:30. In baseball Thursday, both the Reds and Guardians were off. Cleveland's home tonight against the Boston Red Sox, while Cincinnati begins a homestand with the Atlanta Braves. The league hopes to avoid a lockout in 2027, but through a salary cap proposal at the Players Association Thursday. In college football, the Big 12 has voted unanimously on a 2014 college football playoff. The Southeastern Conference did not hold a vote after their spring meetings wrapped up yesterday in Destin. Big 10 has consensus on a playoff expansion to 24 teams. We're 99 days out from Ohio State hosting Ball State Saturday, September 5th. That game will kick at 12:30. Hear Buckeye football this fall and every fall on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lesmerises joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Barry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Paul Finebaum, fresh off a busy week down at SEC meetings in Destin, will join us at 10:30. Doug Lesmerises at 11:30. What we learned coming up at 11 o'clock. The great Clay Hall going to help me try to put legendary Upper Arlington lacrosse coach Ted Wolford's life into perspective coming up around 9:50. Clay gracious enough to do that with a massive loss in the lacrosse community. So we will do that and give him the proper attention that it is deserved coming up then. Today was the last day of school. Last day of school for the boys. NBC pulled a pretty remarkable move last night. We got back from lacrosse practice, and it's around 9 o'clock. And, of course, they're all pretty strategic. They don't ask me for permission to do that type of stuff. They go straight to mom. And so he goes, can we have some friends stay over? No, I hear it. No, you can't have. It's school night. You're not a senior. You're an eighth grader. We're not doing that. We don't have sleepovers during the week. But then, of course, my wife, well, we can't have it because your brothers and dad has to work and all these things. He goes, well, can I go to my buddies? Well, I don't care. Oh, okay. Eighth graders are seniors now. We can stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, last day of school. Now, I understand that this contradicts because we did have a week full of goat yoga and everything else, which, by the way, Beamsy initially said creepy, and then that switched to, they were kind of cute, Dad. The goats, guys, had diapers. They put the goats in diapers so they don't pee on the yoga people. This is real.
Makes sense.
I guess. If you say so, I guess it makes sense. I would think them, I don't know. So he's got a picture of him holding a baby goat in a diaper, for God's sakes. I didn't have that on my bingo card. So today was the last day. We did the pictures, all of those things. We're pulling in the last drop-off of the year. This has been an issue all season long, all year long. And we've got a main thoroughfare that we're driving down. You got to make a left across traffic, and then it is 3 blocks to the turn into the middle school. As I make the left today, there are, and this is a 2-lane road going both directions, there are 3 cars, including an SUV with a trailer, parked in the right lane. There really isn't room for anybody to be parked if traffic is to go both ways. In fact, when this happens, now you have to basically do your turn, my turn, one-way traffic. But that's not even the half of it. Ahead of that is a garbage truck picking up garbage. Now, garbage is picked up every Friday. It has all year long. It has the entire time we've lived here. It's been picked up on Friday. This is the first time I've ever seen a garbage truck in the school drop-off street ever. Beamsy's quote, "They're testing you, Dad." I said, "They are. They are, son. They're testing me." So I'm like, "Buddy, I think you're going to be late." We had plenty of time, but I think it's going to take us 9 minutes to go 3 blocks is kind of the way this is going to go. So the good news for him was he gets in. He got in time, but even better news for him. So they call it when the line works out and they get dropped off right in front of the doors and everyone pulls ahead so you can get a full 16-person drop-off. They call it, "Can we get a clutch?" So they call it a clutch when they get dropped off right in front of the door. And I'm happy to report on Beamsy's last day, and NBC was with his buddies, he got a clutch. He got to walk out right into the front door. So that was a big win. I'm out of it. Thank God it's done. 3 months of a break with none of it. It did get me thinking about the last day of school when I was a kid and just the incredible joy of nothingness that was to come, or at least in my mind's eye, the nothingness that was to come, that I could do whatever I wanted in the summer. Now, I always had jobs, so it wasn't whatever I wanted. But the freedom that came with it. And then I started to think, there are two, I think, and maybe you guys can correct me if there are more, there are two, at least off the top of my head, incredible last day of school movies. Dazed and Confused and Superbad. Is there another one that I want to add to that? Or should it just be those two? And if you have to just choose between those two, which way do you go?
Superbad for me. I think those are it. But I would...
Is it going to be generational, Reese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think, growing up... I mean, Dazed and Confused is great, but Superbad for me, just, again, because growing up, you connected with it more, I would say.
Well, it's got to be right around your age.
Yeah.
I mean, you graduated UA what year?
08.
08. So this was out when you were in middle school-ish. I think, isn't it around that time? When did Superbad come out? Is it right around then?
I want to say 09.
I was thinking like 04-ish, 06-ish, somewhere in there.
2007.
Oh my God! So you're essentially Jonah Hill and the other kid cruising around looking to put Michael Cera putting beer into Tide bottles.
Yeah,
which that isn't going to end well for anybody. That part always makes me a little nauseous. Bake, for you, you got to be a Dazed guy.
I'm not a Dazed guy. I would be more a Superbad in this.
How's that possible? What happened to you?
I feel like Superbad relates to me more. Like taking a car in a parking lot when you shouldn't be driving and going crazy and
Bake.
Sneaking
chicken, yeah, fake ID.
Bake, you absolutely could be the Cole Hauser role in Dazed and Confused. In your sleep, that could be you. I'm not putting the Affleck role on you. I don't think you're O'Banion. I don't think you have that type of vitriol to you. I think you're far too good-natured. But you could absolutely do the Cole Hauser role and thrive in it.
I don't know. I got a lot of vitriol in me.
You do not. You're a good-natured man.
I do.
Several ladies in the chat are consistently wanting to see if you're single. So whenever you're single, they're always ready. Let's put it on the poll. Best last day of school movie, Dazed and Confused, Superbad. They're both great. They're both great. I've seen Dazed way more. I remember going to Superbad in the theater, and the place was lit on fire in terms of the laughter in it. Like the first time with McLovin and all of that stuff. That one's pretty good. Superbad, I'm trying to think. I haven't seen either of them very much on like the cable anymore, and I know I'm one of the last people that have that, but I haven't seen them like as something I could paratroop into much anymore. There was a while that Dazed was on. He was in the TNT run quite a bit, so we'll put. I'm more of a Dazed guy, I think. Even though it was late 70s, I probably more identify with that one than I do the Superbad guys. But I think Superbad will end up winning. I'm just curious how big it'll be. Is it a 70-30 split?
Well, just a quick YouTube perusing, Dazed and Confused, is I haven't seen one for Superbad yet on the YouTube. Now there's only a couple, but
yeah, I think it's going to be age determined. If you're if you're a man, you're 40, I think you could lean, and up, I think you're going to go all Dazed. Anybody under, I wonder if maybe I'll watch them both with NBC this weekend. I don't know how much time we get lacrosse stuff, but if I might try. I know he hasn't seen Dazed. He's seen some of Superbad, I'm sure. I know he hasn't seen Dazed. So we'll give that a little bit of a run. So last day of school for them, I asked Beams. I said, "What's the thing you're most excited to do?" He goes, "Sleep in." I said, "What are you going to do the first day?" He goes, "Sleep in, play lacrosse, play FIFA." Oh, okay. Well, there's your summer. You got that to look forward to, which is nice. All of you celebrating your last first days. I know a lot of kids go next week too. There's nothing quite like the joy. I would say for a young kid matched only by the joy of Christmas morning is the last day of school joy. Did you guys have that?
Oh, for a little bit. I can remember the last week you were kind of checked out anyway. And so it did, the last day you were like, it felt like a formality.
Yeah.
I was always ready. Always ready to get out
Shocker.
of school. It's summer.
Jeez.
Always ready. Let's go.
Just pure joy.
Not gonna
I were to ask, let me ask you this. If I were to ask 12-year-old Bake, what are you looking, so if all of a sudden I'm driving you to school and I ask you the question I asked Beamsy this morning, what are you most looking forward to do this summer? 12-year-old Bake says what?
It was probably just playing basketball all day, every day in the pool.
Yeah.
Both of those things, basketball and the pool. Those were what I was looking forward to.
It's pretty amazing how you could in those days, and it was rural where I grew up, but even then, my entire weekly, when I had free time, it was how many pickup basketball games can I get organized today? Call all the right people. Do we have enough for 10? No, we can go 8s. Fine, 4-on-4 works. 3-on-3 full court? Sure, let's do that. Anything that you can to get a game on. So it's a hell of a day. And for the boys, today was that day. We're going to get a Game 7, and we're going to get it in emphatic fashion. The Spurs were pretty dang impressive last night. We will get into that. Julian Sayin with some comments here back in town. He looked different. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. I'm not sure who cut the audio, but he's looked like he's put on some LBs. So we have that to look forward to as well, which is nice. We're off and running on a Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Hey, it's Common Man. Everybody's talking about affordability these days, but the good news is you'll find hundreds of vehicles that fit your budget at GoGermain.com. Drive home in a new sedan starting at just $139 a month. New SUVs from only $189 a month, or a truck for as low as $329. Plus, choose from over 1,700 new and pre-owned vehicles, all priced under $30K, and it's only at GoGermain.com. And with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Go see my friends today. GoGermain.com.
Not all dental practices are the same. Most do a little bit of everything.
Primarily maintenance and teeth cleanings.
But where do you go when you need serious restoration? Who can give you a brand new smile that's comfortable?
At Runyon Dental Group, we are trained experts in restorative dentistry.
Restoration is all we do.
We can give you a gorgeous, new, comfortable, healthy smile.
No matter what the condition of your teeth.
Even if you have no teeth, then we can do it comfortably.
Runyon Dental Group.
Common Man and Timmy here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Oh, Timmy, it's getting closer.
What is?
The grand opening of the new Hollywood Casino Columbus Hotel.
Oh, that's right. The grand opening celebration is coming up on June 12th. Brett Michaels will be there.
And there's going to be fireworks and food trucks and swag and a chance to win a motorcycle.
Motorcycle shit. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Plus, on select Wednesdays and Saturdays, it's the $1,000 Win Your Way drawings.
Must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
I'm Jeff Hogan. I've been a journalist at 10 TV for more than 20 years. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to speak up, or lend a hand. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turns, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greensons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Morning Juice is now live on YouTube. Join Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Thidoff weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
Just search 971 The Fan to catch the live experience or watch on demand.
The Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Wow, it's going to be a beautiful end of the work week for us as temperatures get right around 80 degrees with plenty of sunshine. And then for tonight, partly cloudy and very refreshing with lows down into the 50s. We kick off the weekend with mostly sunny skies and highs in the mid to low 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
I see the, we were talking about the, a couple weeks ago, I had the e-bike thing that we've gotten a lot of mileage out of on the social. I can give you an e-bike update. I saw this this morning. This morning, an e-bike. This was I would say an early, someone between the ages of 12 and 14, somewhere in there, on an e-bike, and I use that word loosely, basically a Tesla motorcycle is what this thing was. They were, the kid that was driving had a helmet on. The kid that was the passenger did not. So we had two kids on one of these. This one kind of looked more like it just flat out was a motorcycle is what it was. It was an electric motorcycle. So I was going, it was a 35 mile an hour zone. I was going 36-ish, and I couldn't keep up. Just flying. Like, I know, no license on the vehicle, nothing. Just zooming. I'm like, this is clearly illegal. Clearly illegal. And I know that a lot of communities are starting to do some things and get wise to it, but this was terrifying. I'm like, my God, who has greenlit this behavior on a Friday morning?
I don't understand what happened to little Timmy.
No kidding, right?
Goodness. By the way, Bo, on the YouTube chat, JB says, FYI, I just saw on Reddit that the last day of school in Dazed and Confused was 50 years ago yesterday, May 28th, 1976.
Holy smokes. Boy, that's apropos, huh? I didn't
Makes
realize
sense.
that.
Last day of school?
Somebody on social, I should get the name right. It was, where is it? Let's see. It was Nate. He had a great tweet summing it up. He said, Dazed was a period piece when it came out. Superbad was contemporary upon release and is now a period piece. That's a pretty solid difference. Is Fast Times, is that the last day of school? Fast Times? I've seen Fast
Somebody
Times
said that it was.
I've only seen Fast Times probably less than 5 times in my life. I've seen parts of Fast Times a lot. But only seen
Fast Times is one of those that I've started, that I've jumped into, but never fully finished. So Fast Times came out in 82. I would not consider it.
Is it? Yeah, I'm not sure if it is or not.
It's a last day of school going into summer, but I think they're still in. Yeah, I wouldn't consider it like the we're done with school kind of vibe.
Okay. It feels like, I feel like in our poll, Superbad is going to, my guess is Superbad's going to win because I think we're skewing a little younger. So
someone had asked in the YouTube chat that hadn't seen either Superbad or Dazed and Confused, which should they start with? And I'd replied, do you find Jonah Hill funny? If not, start with Dazed. Does that feel accurate?
The Jonah Hill part of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, they're almost entirely different. Like, I don't think, like, Superbad is more in line with, like, Old School Wedding Crasher, like, all of that. It feels like more that type. Dazed and Confused feels, to me, like a Norman Rockwell painting of the 70s. Is what it's almost like, here's a slice of Americana. This is what Americana was like in the late 70s. And it's got all the lines. I think the crazy thing about both of them, though, is, like, when you look back at the people that are in those two movies, could you have nailed those casts better? Like, Ben Affleck is a heel in Dazed. That's how Richard Linklater discovered Matthew McConaughey hanging around an Austin bar and cast him in this movie. This is what launched McConaughey in Dazed. The amount of talent in those, like, think about Jonah Hill at that age and being discovered and putting him in a movie like that. Michael Cera was probably already in Arrested Development, I think. Yeah.
Michael Cera was so good.
He was great.
It's super bad.
He was great. Yeah, he was great. But he was he was young too. So, like, because Rogan's in it and Bill Hader's in it. Oh my gosh, the girl, who's the lead, the female lead who's won 2 Oscars?
Emma Stone.
Jeez. I mean, that's finding star power early, kids. When you think
worth
about what
watching
they did there.
alone.
Yeah, she's great. I don't know that it's believable that Jonah was ever going to land her, but certainly all of that, and then the McLovin piece of it. So yeah, they're both classics. I love them both. This was not a classic last night. The San Antonio Spurs came from Jump Street, were ready to go. Wembanyama was fired up, and they went nuts. They were up 13 after 1. Give Thunder some credit in the second for fighting back and making it a little bit interesting, but the Spurs used a 32-13 third to pull away and cruise to a 118-91. This is the first game of this series, guys. I guess maybe game 4 was this way too. There's been a couple of games in this series, but this has happened a lot in the league, in these playoffs in the NBA, where it seems like when it kind of starts to go bad, you kind of just push in your chips and you say, we'll see you the next night. I don't know that what happened last night is any harbinger of something to come on a Game 7 Saturday night.
I was going to ask about that, Bo, and maybe my memory is just different. And this is going to Game 7. So you would think that these teams are evenly matched, but the final scores in a lot of these games are not indicative of close basketball games. Was it like that when we were growing up back in the late 80s and the 90s? I feel like there were classic playoff series, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Were there blowouts? I guess we just remember that they were great series. This doesn't seem normal to me.
It's been normal I don't know if it is or not. And, Bake, that's that thing that happens. The line from Mad Men, nostalgia, it's potent. It can also be deceiving. Like in our heads, we remember things as classics. Were they all classics? In my head, they were. It felt like they were. But like, I was a Lakers fan growing up. I don't know if every Western Conference final against Utah or Dallas or Portland was a classic series. I think some of them probably were. But I don't know if they all were. Certainly the finals, a lot of those were. This series has mostly not been this. I mean, Game 1 was a classic. The Spurs win 122-115. Game 2 was great, 122-113. Game 3, pretty good, 123-108. Game 4, the Spurs bombed, 103-82. And then the Thunder kind of bombed in Game 5, 127-114, and then another beatdown. So I think it sets up for what should be a classic on Saturday night, and I think what feels like for most the NBA championship will be decided. I don't see the Knicks hanging with either one of these teams. I just think it's a brutal matchup either way.
I do wonder for both of these teams in the West, because whoever wins tomorrow night's Game 7 is going to host Game 1 Wednesday at 8:30, and then obviously Game 2. But a 7-game series in this probably favors New York, especially if both of these teams or whomever comes out the winner isn't at 100%. I think it's one of the benefits of having a 7-game series in this. I think for you, New York, it's can they hit as many shots from everywhere as they could against the Cavs?
Mm-hmm.
Right, because I do think the talent disparity's there. It was interesting with what happened last night. So there were 70 total free throws in Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs and Thunder combined for 10 in the first half last night, just 37 for the entire game.
So
Tony Brothers was not officiating last night's game.
No, and one of the NBC was saying to me, or no, it was Bootsy. So I was even more surprised. Just the 10-year-old Boots. He goes, I hate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I said, why? He goes, he's a flopper. And I said, where'd you hear that? Where did you hear that he's a flopper? And he's like, all my friends are talking about it. So there's all these
you
videos
see on social media.
Yeah, is him like basically falling to the ground. He basically performs like a youth sports kid. Like the cheat code in youth sports is if you're playing soccer, lacrosse, basketball, anything, if when you draw any sort of contact or anyone nudges you, fall to the ground, you'll get a penalty. Like it's a lock. It's a lock. Officials aren't watching it that closely. They're getting paid $25 a game. It's a penalty. In lacrosse, man up. If it's basketball, go shoot free throws. Like it's I've seen it a billion times. And that's basically what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does. He basically, if he gets nudged, he's going to the ground. If you watch some of these clips, it's amazing. He gets nudged, and then as he's falling, he lands on his feet first, and then he falls. So he lands on his feet to brace himself for the fall, and then he falls on his backside. That's basically what's happening.
Call a foul on him then.
No, that's what they need to do. Or just not call it at all. The problem, though, is that the game is happening so fast, there is contact, and then what do you do with it? There's a video going around yesterday of Kobe Bryant and Carmelo Anthony fighting for position. Carmelo's trying to guard Kobe, and Kobe fighting for position. It looks like a street fight in terms of just elbows and constant contact. I mean, it's like what the Pistons did to Jordan, just Jordan rules, just physical. I don't think any of that would fly now. The problem for the officials is, so what are they going to do in a Game 7? Are they going to call it all, or are they going to let them play? If they call it all, they're going to wreck it. I think we can all agree to that. So, but you also can't let it get out of control. Going to be fascinating. It's going to be Saturday night, 8:00 on NBC for that Game 7 between the Spurs and OKC. And I don't have my rooting interest is just against OKC because to me they should be the Seattle Sonics, but at the same time, like, legitimately kind of excited to see it because I think the quality of basketball between these two teams is incredibly high. Julian Sayin back in town after a little respite in Southern California. Get his thoughts on what needs to be accomplished this summer, among other things, coming up in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Common Man here. Join me June 20th for the Common Man Mile at this year's Fan 5K in Westerville. Get signed up at 971therace.com.
The 97.1 The Fan 5K is presented by Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, and the Common Man Mile is sponsored by Rose Pest Solutions. Rose Pest Solutions has been protecting Columbus homes and businesses for over 165 years. Got a pest problem? Rose is the solution. Call 800-966-ROSE or visit rosepestsolutions.com.
Hey, Columbus, buy a new Ford at the same price of Ford employee pays. No markup, no haggling. Right now, Capital Ford of Columbus, get employee pricing on F-150s, Super Duties, Explorers, Mustangs, and more. Thousands in savings. This deal ends soon. Come to Capital Ford today, priced for you.
Sun, splashes, and nonstop fun await at Zoombezi Bay.
Get your season pass for unlimited thrills,
including our all-new conservation tower. Buy now at ZoombeziBay.com.
Welcome back to What Is That Thing? Today our guest is
Dr. Melvin Parsbrucker. I invented the sump pump.
Ah, the sump pump. I've heard Apex pros talk about those.
Yes, the pros who knows are true experts in sump pumpology.
So, Doctor, what is that thing?
You see, a sump pump is a device designed to pump out sump.
Sump?
For the pump.
You say the pump pumps?
Sump.
Sump. And what exactly is sump?
It's what gets pumped.
I want to be sure I'm hearing you right. Sump?
Sump.
And that's what gets
pumped. Look, maybe Apex Pros can explain it at your level.
Well, Apex Pro says sump pumps are made to keep groundwater from accumulating and flooding your basement, especially this time of year with the big spring rains and the uniquely shallow water table in and around Franklin County. A simple sump pump can protect your home from tens of thousands of dollars in damage.
It's made to sump the pump.
Of course.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man?
Sponsored by Apex Pros, the pros who knows.
All right, here's what's up on a Friday edition of the program. Julian Sayin back in town after a little southern return home to Southern California and recharged the batteries a little bit back here for the summer. He was speaking at the Panini American World Mobile Tour stop at Midwest Cards in downtown on First Friday. Ohio State fans, memorabilia collectors lined up with the opportunity to take pictures with Miss. Now, this is NIL. This is
what it's for.
This is what it is.
Come
this
meet
is what
Julian Sayin. Get your stuff signed.
This is exactly what NIL is. Do you remember this as Buckeye fans, as kids? I remember this would have been in August of 2007, almost 20 years ago. Ohio State they would always hold under Tress, they would hold their open practice at the Shoe. And we broadcast it. Not on Channel 10. I think we broadcast it on the Ohio News Network, which is now defunct, but I think we broadcast it on there. So it was under the lights, and they put on a practice, and it was I can't remember if they charged, knowing Ohio State, they probably charged $5 or something like that to get in so that they could, pad some coffers. But at the same time, there were 30,000 people there. One of the things that was a part of it was they would have the players line up. There was all the players would line up with tables to sign autographs for folks. Like it wasn't NIL, like it was just part of it. So they would practice and then they would sign autographs for the folks that were there. Did you guys ever participate in that? Do you remember that at all?
No. I remember.
Pretty cool thing. It was cool.
As a kid, I think this is after Michael Redd had finished his playing career, he was signing pictures at Chuck and Barb's baseball cards in UA. We went in to buy Pokemon cards, and there was Michael Redd sitting at a table.
Mike Redd.
Yeah.
Bo, I remember those, but I never went to any of them or.
It's kind of like what they do now with the open practice. That they do, which is really cool. Where you go watch a couple practices and you get some autographs. A lot of the guys stand around and sign. So that's pretty cool. So they used to do that back in the day. So that was pre-NIL. This is what NIL is supposed to be. I'm guessing Julian has a deal with either Midwest Cards or Panini, one of the two.
Or both.
Or maybe both. Hopefully for him, both. He can win on both ends. He looked, didn't you guys think in the video he looked more robust? Like just his face and everything. He just seemed like he was bigger.
His face looked fuller.
I think it was before the spring game. He had talked about putting on some weight.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That's kind of the one thing that people... criticism's too strong, but the one thing, like when you do pros and cons, like there is this perception, whether it's real or not, that Julian is slight, right? But he's 6'1", 6'2", and so he's not, he's not Bryce Young. Like I've compared his game to Bryce Young, but physically he's quite a bit bigger than Bryce Young. So maybe that's what it's about. He's trying to put on a little bulk for that, and my guess is Body by Mick will get him there. Julian has answered an array of questions. Let's just start with the chip that's on the shoulder after last season.
Yeah, I think, our whole program does. We didn't end the way we wanted to. We wanted to get, a championship trophy, and, it didn't end that way. And so I think, the whole program has that chip on our shoulder coming out this year.
Going to be some new faces, certainly in the wide receiver room. Obviously, 4 is still there, but some new guys working their way in. Here's Julian on what they got accomplished this spring.
It's been great because everything's kind of about chemistry in that room. And, the quarterback room and the receiver room has really got to be timing and chemistry. So I think it was great to have that spring to kind of get our feet underneath this. And then this summer, just keep building it. We were out there throwing it today.
One of the things that we're I think a lot of people are pointing towards with Julian, and this is just natural. He's a quarterback. You're going to be a leader of the team. And one of the things I think everybody wants to see, not just around here, but NFL, everything, is what does leadership with Julian Sayin look like now that this team is now his, and he's got it in the palm of his hands, and he's certainly one of the leaders. Here is Julian on taking a little bit more ownership.
As someone who's returning from last year, we have a couple guys who are returning, and and we played a lot of football for us last year. I think we have to kind of drive the pace and kind of show the way for them.
We mentioned the strength part of it and filling out a little bit. It's one of Julian's focuses. Have a listen.
Summer's all about what you're doing in the weight room, getting stronger and faster, and then keep getting better on the field throughout our workout. Because being with Coach Mick, he does such a great job, and so it's been great to be working with him.
When we get to next year, what do you think what are you looking for most out of him early on this year? What improvement are you looking for? If you could pick one thing for him to be slightly better at, what would it be?
I'd say red zone, able to lead the offense and convert in the red zone. Because I don't necessarily know early on in the season I want him busting out a 3rd and 5 with his legs. Like, just find the guy in the middle of the field.
Unless it's in Austin, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I would just like him to not, because the discussion about Julian is, can he escape the pocket? Can he, pick up yards with his legs? And it's like, well, sure. Late in the season, he'll probably need to do that in Austin. I just not necessarily something that I want to have because of how long this year's going to be.
I think the one thing that I'm looking for, and it's the thing that I think I saw most in the Indiana and the Miami games, is just recognizing it a little quicker. And whether that be recognizing which receiver is open that he's got to get it to quick, or, hey, there's nothing, I need to go pick up a few with my legs. And I'm not a guy who thinks I don't ever really want my quarterback to run.
Yeah,
quite frankly, like, it's a great thing to have, but I would rather have my quarterback use his legs to make plays and get the ball to his playmaker, but just recognize it a little quicker, because I feel like there were plays to be made in both those Indiana and Miami games, but he had to see it. He had to read it a little faster.
And there's a misconception, I think, that when you say that, because I agree with you, Baker, that we want him to be J.T. Barrett or Will Howard. And that ain't the case.
No. I want him to be C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of is that. I think I'd be curious to know, like, if you could get the real truth on it, if in the Indiana and Miami game, did he not trust it in those spots? Because I'll tell you, did he not fully trust it?
I just don't think he'd ever seen that.
Well, yeah, I mean, those two defenses were better. They were. There's no question. You're a redshirt freshman quarterback. Like, he certainly wasn't the reason you lost those games, not by a damn stretch. And he was better than Arch in the opener against Texas. I said that the Monday after, and we'll say that, and I think it's abundantly clear. It's minimal things. It is an ability to, one thing I thought of in my head was just, it'd sure be nice if when he's under center and they need a yard, if they're going to call that sneak play, that we can get it. Like, he struggled with the leverage of those plays a little bit in big moments where it was 4th and short, 3rd and short, and they weren't able to kind of get that push. Now, some of that's up front, too. Like, were they able to get the push they needed against the best competition in Indiana and Miami? Not really the type of push that they probably needed. I think this is splitting hairs, though. I don't think there's much. I just think if he just does his normal incremental improvements, just gets stronger with another year, gets more wise. Dude, guys, we are so spoiled that this kid's coming back. So absurdly spoiled. I mean, he's a supercomputer back there. He's absurdly accurate. He's the most accurate thrower of the football I've ever seen around here. And so I think all of those things work. It's just the normal improvement. He was a Heisman finalist. I think one of the things this spring that's been annoying to me has been, slander's too strong of a word, but I don't think it's too strong to say that he's been disrespected nationally. I see these rankings, and he's like, some people, now we had one this week that had him, I thought, properly ranked, but there's rankings that I'll see that have him as like the 7th best quarterback in college football. What are we talking about? That's absurd.
I thought it was interesting yesterday that we're talking about Julian now because yesterday Rothman and Ice had Max Chadwick on, who is the host with Dalton Wasserman of the Preferred Walk-On podcast, and we've had Dalton on this program a lot. And it led into a discussion about Julian, and they were talking about how a lot of people will talk about Julian, they'll be like, well, yeah, he's got 4. And they hold that against him. And I understand, like, some Ohio State quarterbacks have gone on to the next level, and they've maybe not performed like you thought they would. But having Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate is held against him. Arch Manning had great receivers, too.
Yes, he did.
Dante Moore has really good receivers as well. Like guys that Ohio State were in the running for, guys that Ohio State wanted in their room.
Absolutely.
They have great receivers, too. So I think it's weird that Arch Manning did not play nearly as well as Julian Sayin on the field last year, but everybody has Arch as the number 1 quarterback. Now, I know there's physical traits. He's 6'4", he's 230 pounds. Julian isn't those things, but to hold Julian Sayin having great receivers against him when Arch Manning does too, and he doesn't get the same criticism or treatment is kind of weird to me.
It's weird to me, too. And here's the other thing that's pretty crazy because you hear this, well, Julian wasn't great against Indiana and Miami. Who was? Who was? Give me Arch Manning's great game against a great opponent. Yeah, he looked great against South Carolina.
He also lost to 4-8 Florida.
That's right. That's right. When you've been around a while, you learn a few things. I know radio, but for pests like ants or termites, you turn to Rose Pest Solutions. With over 165 years of experience, they've mastered their craft as the nation's oldest family-owned pest control company. The pros from Rose protect Columbus homes and businesses with expert pest prevention and treatment. Got a pest problem? Rose is the solution. Call 800-966-ROSE or visit rosepestsolutions.com. We will attempt to eulogize a legend with the help of our good buddy Clay Hall coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Matty Ice here. Looking for the perfect family SUV this May? Then head to McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion and lease a brand new 26 Chevrolet Equinox LT for as low as $259 a month. That's right, the stylish and versatile Equinox LT for just $259 a month. But hurry, this special won't last. Terms and conditions apply. Take delivery by June 1st, 2026. See dealer for details. They're just off Route 23 or 95 in Marion, or you can visit them at McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Again, that's McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to TriStateMen'sHealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Family owned and operated. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Here's something you don't hear admitted very often. When you run a business with your family, you don't always get along with them. We argue, we debate, we have real conversations about the decisions that we make. But at Care, every conversation comes back to our priorities, doing right by our employees and our customers. Because when you treat your team like family, they take better care of the families they serve. And when you treat your customers the way you want your own family treated, trust follows. That mindset doesn't always maximize short-term profits, but it builds something better, long-term relationships. Today, more and more local companies are being bought by venture capital firms, where maximizing profits often leads to a sales-first mentality. Care is still family-owned and locally operated, so we can keep people, not profits, at the center of every decision. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible. But Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Our yoga instructor challenged us to find inner peace. I found it faster than anyone. After 4 seconds, I stood up and screamed, "I found Nirvana! I win!" They asked me to leave. I guess they don't respect winning. Bet365 does, though. New customers get $200 in bonus bets just for betting $10. Namaste, losers. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
The Fan has a secret radio station. It's called The Fan 2. You can listen to the Bob and Tom Show, Jim Rome, and Buckeye stuff. Why do they pay me big money to whisper? The Fan 2 is on the Fan's HD2 channel and streaming on the Fan app. You're welcome. All your favorite Fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, Central Ohio, and lacrosse lost a legend yesterday. Legendary Upper Arlington head coach Ted Wolford died at the age of 66. The record is utterly stupefying. 16 state championships with the Golden Bears. Succeeded his older brother Bill, who left to become the coach at Kilbourne. The record during Ted's time at UA, 460 wins, 61 losses. They went to 18 consecutive finals starting in 1993. That only kind of tells half of the story. And when you start to dig in on this, there's so much more. Nick Myers, Ohio State coach, was corresponding with him this morning and reiterated his comments. We are deeply saddened to hear the news of Coach's passing. Hard to even know where to start with a man like Coach Wolford, one of a kind, total servant to others, blessing to the lacrosse community for all that he gave, and a legend here in Central Ohio. He'll forever be remembered for his passion for the game, even more importantly, his dedication to developing young men. He's touched the lives of so many. Grateful for the time he shared over the 25 years and for all that he has done for me, my two boys, and everything he has given to the medicine game and the Upper Arlington community. A legend that will be forever remembered. Much love. Rest in peace, Coach. And that is from Coach Myers. Buddy of mine and one of the best coaches I've been around, Hudson High School coach Brandon Schwinn, with this to me yesterday. Imagine showing up to practice every day and knowing you were loved. Brandon played for Coach at UA. Whether you were a starter or a guy on the bench, he cared about everyone. Even when coaching against him, you got the impression that he was rooting for you in his heart. A man that will never be forgotten. A huge loss for the entire lacrosse community. The definition of a legend. A man that knows Coach Wolford very well is our buddy Clay Hall. Clay's sons played for Coach as well. Clay, put it into perspective for us the best you can, and sorry for your loss, my friend.
Well, we don't have Clay.
We weren't able to get him.
The number's not working for some reason.
Oh, that's sad. I thought we had him on already. My bad. I should have communicated that better. I thought that we had him on. I would just say from an outside perspective, and I'm relatively new to the lacrosse world, and that my kids are just into it now. But I would say that when you say Upper Arlington lacrosse, there is an incredible amount of gravity that comes with that statement. And I think that probably comes from Coach, and that comes from the excellence. And I think, to me, when I was thinking about this and I was going over the stupefying record that he has put up, and then you hear these comments from the people that have played for him, you just say, okay, he won and all of that. Sure. And that stuff alone is amazing. But the way that he touched people also seems to be. Clay gave me some incredible context about, in our text exchanges yesterday, of Coach's ability to find a kid and say, where do you want to play in college? Let's find a path for you. And not everybody goes to Princeton or goes to Denver or goes to the Ohio State, these massive places. But let's find a path for you. And he did that for a lot of folks out there and a lot of kids that came through. And I don't know, I think I can pretty adamantly say this. I'm pretty sure Ohio lacrosse, which has become really one of the stronger states, certainly this is a sport that is in the Northeast primarily, and that's where most of the best players are. But what Ohio has become over the last 25 years in lacrosse, it all started at Upper Arlington. It all started with the Wolford brothers, and it all started there. And now you have this situation where you have club teams in this state that can hang with some of the best in the entire country. And I have to imagine the genesis of that starts with coach. And when you think about you do a Mount Rushmore of Ohio lacrosse, Ted Wolford's on it. Reese, you were an Upper Arlington kid. It had to be omnipresent.
Yeah, I mean, they named the field after him.
That's
so
right.
The field that they're going to play on today, I think UA's playing a regional
tonight, yeah.
against New Albany.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing on the Ted Wolford field. And I know the girls lacrosse team had a game maybe earlier in the week. It's a huge loss for high school sports in the state because, you know, how important, 16 state championships, the record tells itself, but I think you did a really good job. They're just giving our listeners a sense of what he meant as a leader of young men, as a developer of young men and young women and young athletes looking to find their place in the world. I think that's what you do a lot in high school. You know, there's so much pressure and sports, you know, we as fans use it as an escape. And he was a captain of a ship that it'd be very hard to find someone who'll make that much of an impact. And if those of us, I had a hot cup of coffee as a lacrosse wannabe. Mm-hmm. And when we did a camp, and his presence is, he was a great coach, but an even greater human. And his presence was felt in just how much he cared about everybody's development, not only in the game, but as people. It was so kind. Everybody.
Reese, what more do you want? I mean, I just think of like what I try to do, even with the youth level, like, yeah, you want to teach the game the right way. Sure. You want to have success. You want to have all of that stuff. But what you really want to do is you want to make them better humans. It is never taken lightly, the responsibility of when you are in control of a certain amount of time of somebody else's kid and the impact that you can have positively or negatively. And those who decide to have that incredible impact, some of the most important people in my life and get me to where I am were coaches that I had in youth and high school. The lessons that I learned then are things that I've passed along to my boys and I've seen. And it seemed like Ted did that in spades to so many folks throughout the years at Upper Arlington. And I do think the incredible boom that we have seen in the sport. And I remember I only interviewed him one time. It was in one of those incredible runs that they had. I can't remember the year. I just remember walking away being so incredibly impressed by him as a human being and just his give a damn level for the kids and the sport and all of it. And Ohio has benefited tremendously for it. The legacy is just unbelievable. So incredible stuff, and he will be truly, truly missed. We'll try to get. I'm texting with Clay, says he's calling the hotline, but it's busy. So we're up against it a little bit now. So we'll try to get him on maybe a little bit later in the show to add a little context to all of this. Coming up next, we will turn our attention to SEC meetings, some of the comments from Greg Sankey, and some very interesting comments from a politician on trying to get ahead of a problem that isn't quite there yet. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
All right, if you're planning that summer road trip, before you load up and hit the highway, make sure your vehicle is ready for that journey. At your main Honda of Dublin, you can count on same-day service to get you road trip ready. From oil changes to inspections, it's quick, easy, and done right. So you can drive with confidence wherever the summer takes you. No stress, no delays, just smooth sailing. Stop by Germain Honda of Dublin, just south of 270 on Sawmill Road, or schedule your service anytime at germainhondaofdublin.com.
Your plate is full every morning, thanks to the $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. Freshly brewed coffee, a hearty breakfast sandwich with a freshly cracked egg, and a daily baked donut. All of that for just $6. Yeah, that is a full plate for sure, but it's one less thing on your plate to worry about. So enjoy it to its fullest. The $6 Tim's Trio, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons, at participating U.S. restaurants.
I'm Meredith Garfalo, meteorologist at 10 TV News This Morning, and I'm an Ohio girl. I love golf, aerospace, and all things Ohio sports. For nearly 20 years, I've studied the patterns that shape our days, from winter wonders on the south side to dangerous storms along the I-71 corridor. When the weather changes, you'll be the first to know, because you need a forecast that moves as fast as you do. Make the move to 10 TV News This Morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son Mike. In addition to the comp case, there is a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued, Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loans and no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate, or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
Take action with Logan Services. Get up to $900 off with Train Instant rebates and up to $2,000 system discount, plus 10-year parts and labor warranty. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule your free estimate now. Logan Services.
No way. Gas prices shot up again.
I know, but I got us covered.
So generous. What's your deal?
What's my deal? I went to Metro and saved. Got 4 lines for just $25 each and 4 free new Samsung Galaxy A17 5G phones, and all on the T-Mobile network.
Ah, how about we go to Metro today?
Get that more for your money feeling. Visit your Metro by T-Mobile store. Just bring your numbers. Net available if you've been with Metro or T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
They say great customer service is a thing of the past, but not at Newman Roofing. Quality products, expert installers, and a team you can trust is the core foundation at Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF today to have your roofing, siding, or gutters replaced this spring, or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. It was a sweep in the East. There will be a Game 7 in the West. The NBA Finals are set to begin next Wednesday. The New York Knicks will play at the Spurs or the Thunder as San Antonio forced a final game in their series with OKC. Victor Wembanyama had a 28-10 night as the Spurs smothered the Thunder 118-91 Thursday. Oklahoma City's going to host Game 7 tomorrow night at 8. In baseball yesterday, both the Reds and Guardians were idle. Cincinnati hosts Atlanta tonight at 6:40. Redlegs enter the weekend 5 back of the Brewers in the NL Central. The Guardians have a 3-game lead on the White Sox in the AL Central. Cleveland's going to host Boston tonight at 7:10. The Columbus Clippers wrap a series in Toledo this weekend. They're back at Huntington Park next Tuesday for a homestand against Omaha. And in college football, coaches in the Big 10 and Big 12 are in agreement on expanding the playoff to 24 teams. The SEC did not vote following their spring meetings this past week in Destin, Florida. Paul Finebaum was on the beach with the SEC. He'll join Bo Bishop in 30 minutes on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Paul Finebaum coming up 30 minutes from now. Senator Ted Cruz with some very interesting comments on the Big Ten and the SEC potentially colluding together. We attempted to do this in the previous segment, but I wanted to pay proper homage, and I knew to do so. I need to talk to my buddy Clay Hall, whose boys played for Ted Wolford at Upper Arlington, and I think we have Clay now. Just a titan of a man, Clay. You knew him as well as anybody. How do you put his impact into perspective, if you can?
Yeah, it's huge, Bo. You know, when I saw this yesterday, it really stopped me in my tracks because I think so much of Coach and the impact he had. You know, once you called me and I started getting nervous because I wanted to be so good for him. So anyway, we moved here in 1995 from Jackson, Mississippi, and somebody put a lacrosse stick, I think it was Blake Griner, in Judd's hand, and he's like, "You're going to want to play lacrosse. That's what we do here." And Teddy started turning out all these great players. You didn't have to go. You didn't have to walk up and down the halls at UA to find players, because when you start sending people to Maryland and Ohio State and so on and so forth off our team, Judd's senior year, I talked to Andy Schmidt this morning, and the best player on our team was Max Schmidt, who became a multi-year All-American. And Andy just talked about Ted Wolford navigated that recruiting process, and he helped my own son and so many kids to kind of realize that dream. And Nick Myers put it so well. He was a servant leader, one of a kind, and he was dedicated to developing young men. And as I say, got a little emotional because of what Ted means to UA.
Clay, I think you and I really appreciate you giving me some context on this, my friend. And you and I had a text exchange yesterday, and I had a text exchange with our coach here, Brandon Schwind, who played at Hudson, who played for Coach at UA. And he said something, and you said something that was kind of a through line for me. He said, whether you were a starter or a guy on the bench, he cared about everyone. And what you said is that no matter what your aspirations were, whether you were a kid like Schmidt and you were trying to go to the highest level, and they've had a ton of them, or you were a kid who just wanted to keep playing collegiately, he would sit down with you and you would get a plan. And let's put a plan together. And so he cared about it. Is that a fair that was the through line? He cared about the best as well as he did anybody on the roster. You all got the same love and affection and attention.
That's it. And, I reached out to Judd, and he said, he just held everyone to a standard within the program, and you're always competing or working towards something bigger than yourself. And how many times have you heard that about great programs, that's the way they run the thing? And there was the high school warmth, but there was this there were so many kids who played in college who wanted to come back and be on the coaching staff. And you'd go to a game and there'd be 6 or 8 guys there. Oh, wow, because they wanted to give back. And they thought so much of Ted Wolford and the Wolford brothers. There was Bill who started his coaching career at UA, and then Teddy followed him. But again, he just was he was in it for the right things, and it was so clear. Sorry.
No, it's beautiful, brother. I really appreciate you talking on it. You mentioned Bill, who passed in 2021. What was it like when those two teams played? Did they have fun with it?
One of the best stories I think I ever did at Channel 6. I staffed a couple UA Kilbourne games, and Teddy was always like, and usually UA would win, but I mean, there were, Bill had his days as well. But I think I remember one time when Teddy said, "You're not going to give the score, are you?" And I was like, well, yeah. probably will have to throw that in there somewhere. But it just, I don't know.
Because it was lopsided, Clay? It was lopsided in his favor, and he didn't want...
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah, it just, we got to know him because our son and others, Max Schmidt, Scott Lathrop, Grant DeVilbus, all were captains. And so he would sit down with the parents and go through the whole, this is how we do things. And you kind of were brought into the inner sanctum there. And you could just feel the care he had, not only for the kids, but the community, because I would go to recruiting camps with Judd and people would go, Upper Arlington. Oh, yeah. So I hear you got a great coach. Yeah, he's a legend, Ted Wolford. He just was, he was that guy. And the two of them together, buddy, incredible.
That's it. And, and beyond even the Upper Arlington, Kilbourne, it is a Ohio lacrosse thing. I spoke when I was talking about this earlier. My kids are all ensconced in it now, and you still have that. By the way, you see that UA shield, and there's gravity, big gravity to it, no matter what it is. I mean, my 12-year-old beat UA in a game up in Canton. Bob's kids on the UA team, and we beat them. And you would have thought we won the Super Bowl because they beat UA. I mean, like that's kind of the juice that it had to it still. But it's also a growth in the state. I think about the club lacrosse. I think the quality of lacrosse that is in the state. You think about the kids who laid the groundwork for that, yours and so many like them. But it all came from the Wolfords. I mean, the more and more I read about this, like it all was. They were the genesis of all of it.
And Thomas Worthington as well. I mean, that was a heck of a rivalry too around Central Ohio, and this Central Ohio really became a hub for it, and. You'd play on our kids would be on some of these all-star teams, and you'd go and you'd always try. So many times these camps in the summer, we'd be going to Maryland. We'd be going to somewhere on the East Coast. And I remember how proud Judd was of these are public school kids.
That's right.
And we're taking on, the best of the best. These private schoolers and these academies and these postgraduate teams, and we're hanging with them. And it's like, wow, So.
It's so interesting you say that because I just gave Fish here my vacations for the summer, and I use vacations loosely. I am in Annapolis. I am in Baltimore. I am in Richmond, Virginia. My summer, I feel like in a way, it's funny you said that about hand and Judd a lacrosse stick. The same thing happened here. Well, this is what we do. We play lacrosse. My kids got lacrosse sticks. We're in their first, second grade, and away we went. And I feel like in a way, and what Clay just said there, folks, is so critical because when you go out to Maryland or Virginia, you see these kids from Long Island. You see, Project 91 or Sweet Lax and all this stuff. And they're all these kids. They're all East Coast. They're all prep school. They're all private school kids. And here are these public school kids like going toe to toe. There's such an amount of pride to it. And the idea that all started, it's pretty cool, man. That's a hell of an impact.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that my son's a coach is in no small order to Ted's influence. There's no question about that. And I ask him if there's things he does, and he goes, "There's too many to name, Dad. I can't." There's just
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thanks for letting me. Thanks for letting me drone on here. Sorry about that. It's just
don't apologize. I love you. And when I saw this news and I knew the impact, I reached out. I wanted to reach out to you because I knew the impact he had on your boys, and I really appreciate you giving us a little bit of time today, buddy, and properly eulogizing a legend. Thanks, pal, and so sorry for your loss.
No worries. Thanks, man. Appreciate you both.
Yep. That's the legend Clay Hall. His son Judd is as an assistant at Lafayette, and it's a tremendous loss. And I really thank Clay for hopping on with us and adding a little bit of perspective to that on a massive loss for Central Ohio, the sport of lacrosse, and all of it. So Ted Wolford, he will certainly be missed. We will get into some of these comments in terms of the future of the SEC and the Big Ten and potentially a little bit of a collusion happening there. Paul Finebaum joining us in 20 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Welcome back to What Is That Thing? Today our guest is
Dr. Melvin Parsbrucker. I invented the sump pump.
Ah, the sump pump. I've heard Apex pros talk about those.
Yes, the pros who knows are true experts in sump pumpology.
So, Doctor, what is that thing?
You see, a sump pump is a device designed to pump out sump.
Sump?
For the pump.
You say the pumps?
Sump.
Sump. And what exactly is sump?
It's what gets pumped.
I want to be sure I'm hearing you right. Sump?
Sump.
And that's what gets
pumped. Look, maybe Apex Pros can explain it at your level.
Well, Apex Pros says some pumps are made to keep groundwater from accumulating and flooding your basement, especially this time of year with the big spring rains and the uniquely shallow water table in and around Franklin County. A simple sump pump can protect your home from tens of thousands of dollars in damage.
It's made to sump the pump.
Of course.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, NA member FDIC.
When you're craving scratch-made food, 29-degree draft beer, and the best seat in the house for every game, there's only one place to go. Twin Peaks. From juicy burgers and smoked in-house wings to those ice-cold brews served by the friendliest team around, Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports lodge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you never miss a moment. So grab your crew and head to Twin Peaks, where the views are great, the food hits hard, and the beer is always colder than your ex's heart.
Hey, it's Common Man. Everybody's talking about affordability these days, but the good news is you'll find hundreds of vehicles that fit your budget at GoGermain.com. Drive home in a new sedan starting at just $139 a month. New SUVs from only $189 a month, or a truck for as low as $329. Plus, choose from over 1,700 new and pre-owned vehicles, all priced under $30K, and it's only at GoGermain.com. And with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Go see my friends today. GoGermain.com.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
Is it time to renew your Medicaid coverage? Don't miss out. When you renew your AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio benefits on time, you keep more than just your health care. You keep your extra perks too. That means doctor visits, dental, vision, plus extra benefits like school supply funds, baby essentials, rewards for health trivia games, and more. Don't risk losing the coverage and extras your family counts on. Visit AmeriHealthCaritasOH.com/renew today. That's AmeriHealthCaritasOH.com/renew.
The Fan is headed to the Memorial. Are you ready for 30 hours of live coverage? Oh, it's true, baby.
Sponsored by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. TheWaterworks.com.
The best Memorial coverage. The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Wow, it's going to be a beautiful end of the work week for us as temperatures get right around 80 degrees with plenty of sunshine. And then for tonight, partly cloudy and very refreshing with lows down into the 50s. We kick off the weekend with mostly sunny skies and highs in the mid to low 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed, you are. Paul Finebaum coming up in 14 minutes from now, fresh off of SEC meetings down in Destin. A lot was said down there. I'm not exactly sure what is done. We'll get the answers to that from Paul coming up shortly. Greg Sankey did kind of do a state of the state at the end of it and was asked, and by the way, he had a press conference at the beginning of the week and the end of the week. Both. That's how they do things down there. So Sankey was asked if any decisions were made on the CFP from the SEC's perspective. Here was his answer.
As I said on Monday, in a prophetic way, no decisions were made, no votes were taken. We looked at the calendar issue. We looked at some of the matters around bracket size. The numbers that have been talked about were not new. And we'll continue to monitor what may happen as we go into the summer and understanding the interest in potentially expanding the college football playoff field.
You know, one of the things that we had always kind of have on the back burner around here is this notion of potentially being a super league. First person I remember talking about it, you got to go back to Gordon Gee, a decade plus ago, talking about super leagues and those type of things. And most people think that the SEC and the Big Ten, if that happens, are going to lead it. Turns out that one of the guys who's actually trying to do something about this, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, in a bipartisan bill. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. One of the things that I didn't pick up on right away was what he commented on with our buddy Ari Wasserman in his podcast, Andy and Ari. Ted was on with them. Senator Cruz was on with them, and the topic of super leagues came up. Have a listen to this.
One of the real risks is the SEC and Big Ten joining together. Now, I don't believe they would succeed. I actually think that they would lose the antitrust litigation that would be brought against them if they tried to form a super league. But whether they would win or not, this bill makes clear they cannot merge, because you would essentially turn them into the NFL. They'd be the G League for the NFL. You said, well, it wouldn't destroy the programs at other schools. It may not totally destroy them. It would just turn them into effectively high school football, where they would not be competitive. They would not be playing the major schools. Part of what's fun about sports is the Cinderella story. Look, a couple of years ago, Baylor won March Madness. It's hard to see that happening right now. Right now, the winners of the tournament are the people with all the money who could pay for the top athletes, and the smaller schools, it is incredibly difficult to be competitive. I was a freshman in college in 1989 when Princeton played Georgetown. We were the 16 seed. Georgetown was number one. Alonzo Mourning was playing. And we came within 1 point of being the very first 16 seed in history to beat a number one seed. That's an amazing thing about sports. That's fun for the fans, for the athletes, for the institutions. And if you suddenly have the Baylors and TCUs being relegated to non-competitive national level sports, that does enormous damage, not just to the athletic programs, but to the institutions themselves in terms of their alumni donations, in terms of their recruiting. I mean, you do real harm to universities across the country by letting that happen.
He had me at the first part. The second part gets a little silly when you start saying Baylor's a Cinderella with a $2 billion endowment. I don't think TCU's a Cinderella with, I'm sure, a multi-billion-dollar endowment. You could add SMU to that, but he's talking about his constituency, and I'm sure that's what they're saying is, because, by the way, his constituency is the state of Texas. It's not just Texas and Texas A&M. It's Texas Tech. It's everybody else. There's been a little ribbing back and forth between Texas Tech and Texas. Cody Campbell, the super booster, having some things to say about that in terms of he actually offered, this is real, he offered to buy out the week one opponents for Texas and Texas Tech if Texas would schedule Texas Tech to open the season. Of course, Texas plays Ohio State week 2, so I'm guessing they don't want two bangers right out of the gates. In terms of Cruz's comments here on the antitrust issue of the SEC and the Big Ten, and that potentially keeping them from being forming some sort of super league, I actually think that there's actually partners that make more sense for both. To me, if I had to guess how this thing would go, I think what you need to look to more than the power at the top of the conferences. But if these two conferences want to get bigger, think of it from who their television partners are. So if the SEC is going to try to maximize, because one of the things in this bill is it allows, if there is 75% of the non-power, 75% of Power 4 schools can pool their media rights to increase their value. So what that would allow for is the ACC, the Big 12, all of them to pool their media rights to get more money out of it, which would actually be pretty smart for all of those. I actually think if the SEC, if you're going to see some of this, I think it will go Big 12 and Big 10 and ACC with SEC. The SEC is completely in bed with ESPN, and so is the ACC. We talked about that for years. And the Big 12 is with the Big 10 with Fox. So if you're going to do super leagues, it almost feels like it will be aligned, and I know this makes Bake sick, it almost feels to me like it'll be aligned by the television networks, not geography or even aspiration.
Yeah, you throw a map out. Like this is all from the networks.
Yeah.
And even when you have like network consolidation, like you're starting to see, because I think it's CBS or Skydance, and they're looking to get Turner. And you see all of the consolidation of media entities and how much power and influence that they have. That's where you, I think, have to look. And if anything's going to be done, it's going to be at the behest largely of them, or done to appease and to placate them. Less on the schools, less on the individual coaches and presidents, but more on, and that's why Tony Petitti's the commissioner of the Big Ten, television guy. There's content and inventory, and we hate those words. And I know Baker's eyes roll in the back of his head. That's where this is going, and I think unless you address that, you're not going to change, or you're not going to halt change or progress. I think that's what they'll call it.
There are so many things about what Ted Cruz just said here that are ridiculous to me. But, Bo, those are the media rights deals now. Like the Big 10 and the Big 12 may not have the same media rights deals here in 5 years. They may not be aligned with those same media companies. So
that's fair. Yeah.
I don't know if that's totally the way to go. The SEC and the Big 10 have been a G League for the NFL for years.
Yeah, that's.
What is he talking about with this? Like, they have been a G League for years. You're also saying you don't want this Super League and this conglomerate, when alls we've done here recently is take away rules that get away from monopolies. And ESPN is buying up everything, and Paramount and CBS are buying up everything. And everything that's going on in the world right now contradicts what you want to do with these two in making a lot of money. And we've talked about this all along. We look at this just from a football prism. So you start talking about football, and then you switch to we love these upsets in the NCAA basketball tournament. Yeah. It's a whole different sport. Like, you've gone off the rails with what you've said on a lot of this.
We debunked this bill yesterday, and a lot of people are giving it a lot of credit. I don't think that, to me, at least half of it is written by people who have no idea what is going on in the sport. None. And to use Baylor as a Cinderella is just nothing short of silly. Now, he uses the Princeton analogy from when he was at Princeton with Georgia. Okay, now that's Cinderella. That's 16 against 1. Baylor was the 1 seed, right? By the way, in that sport, nothing is stopping Baylor from being as good as any. In fact, a blue blood like Kentucky in basketball is lost. They are lost. They're not competitive. St. John's is pulling guys over Kentucky.
$6 million.
Yeah. Kentucky's lost. They're not organized on it. They don't have the money for it. They're lost. I was at Fog Allen this year. They had Darren Peterson, and that worked out well, but that was an Adidas situation. Their best player on the floor, and you could argue their best player all season in terms of for their impact, was Flory Badunga. He was developed at Kansas. He was compensated at Kansas. He jumped in the portal and went to Louisville. Think about that. Because they paid more. So that's where you start to lose me on this conversation. The thing that I thought was so interesting was this fear of the Big Ten and the SEC working together on this thing. If they work together on this thing, and Sankey even talked about this at one point. I think doesn't he have a quote about this? I think you guys had it in the prep. I wanted to say it was in the prep somewhere.
So are you referencing when he says, quote, shoot, I remember last year when we were told if we went to 9 games, the Big Ten would vote for a 16-team playoff in 2026, and I think we're still a 12-team playoff.
Yeah. Yeah, there was another line he had about how complicated it would be to like pool the resources. Maybe I didn't read it here, maybe read it somewhere else, but he had a comment about like this idea of how easy it would be to just pool resources, and it's not going to be easy to pool resources. We have people right now. Just think about this from their perspective of these two conferences. The SEC's their conversation with their media partner is pretty straightforward. They're meeting with one dude. They're not making as much, but they're meeting with one operation. The Big Ten primarily is working with Fox, but then has ancillary partners in CBS and NBC. So mostly Fox, but CBS, NBC. So they have to answer to kind of 3 different masters in this thing, where the SEC is just working with one entity. You said, Bake, you mentioned that these deals aren't over, are over in the next. I think the Big Ten deal's up in the next 5 years. What does it look like the next time around? Like, is Apple, Amazon, YouTube TV, are they going to be clamoring for this stuff? Or is this still broadcast stuff? There is some conjecture, even in NFL circles, that thinking that the streaming thing is going to net you this incredible windfall, that some of these streamers are so established that they don't need to take a loss leader anymore. People don't realize this. The networks lose money on the NFL. They do. It's a loss leader for them. But it brings eyeballs to it, and then they sell it, and the rest of it works. That's the place that college football is going to be at. I think as you kind of sum up this stuff with this bill and some of it, there are some good wins in there. But I also think it casts far too wide of a net, and I think that there are a ton of issues that are going to crop up and more litigation as this thing goes along. Paul Finebaum was down in Destin all week, had an incredible setup down there. We will get his opinion on what the real truth of what went on down there was in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey, Columbus, what if you could buy a new Ford at the exact price a Ford employee pays? No markup, no haggling, just straight employee pricing for everybody. Right now, Capital Ford of Columbus, get that deal on almost every new F-150, Super Duty, Explorer, Mustang, and more. That's thousands in savings on Capital Ford's best-selling trucks and SUVs. This deal will expire soon. Come to Capital Ford of Columbus today and drive home happy with employee pricing. Visit CapitalFordofColumbus.com today, where we are priced for you.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
Got better things to do this summer than deal with old appliances. That's why right now at Lowe's, you can still get in on Memorial Day savings and get up to 45% off select major appliances. Plus, get up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. It's time to upgrade what's outdated. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/3. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Oh, Bob, man, listen to me. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum, sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
I also think, like in that rejoin that we have for Mr. Finebaum as he joins us every single week, we need to add incredible set envy. because every time I see that set of you down there with the golf behind you, I'm going, that's as good as it gets, my friend. Busy week down there. What got done?
Nothing, except we had 2 incredible days in front of a landscape painting. But Bo, I mean, if you would assign me to cover it and so what did you accomplish? I would say a pretty expensive count, and just a lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. And really, I think the national takeaways were all negative. Kirby Smart, talking about succession. When you're a Southern League, succession is never a word you should use in 2026. And my friend Greg Sankey trying to defend that the SEC is still the best conference in college football by using metrics and saying it was a close call against Texas, Ohio State a couple of years ago in the Cotton Bowl, and Alabama lost to Michigan in overtime, completely forgetting Tennessee getting ramsackled by Ohio State. I mean, I don't know where to start other than just be quiet.
Yeah, So you mentioned the Kirby stuff. So, I was down there. We've talked about it. And I think you tell me if I'm off on this, and maybe I am, and I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong. I do think that there is a certain segment of the fans and the folks who call into your show and root for the teams in that conference that if people like Kirby said and other people in the league said, hey, we're going to come up with our own rules and we're going to clown an SEC champion. And if that means that we can't compete for a national championship, we'll be kings of the South, and that's good enough for us. Is that overstepping, or do I have a decent read on it?
No, that's exactly right. And listen, I don't want anybody to snicker that the guy that hosts the most high testosterone SEC show in America is throwing caution to the wind here. But that's the makeup of what we do, is that we're better than you. We don't really care. But that's the bravado that worked very well, Bo, when the SEC was winning everything. It doesn't work as well when you haven't been to the national championship game in 4 years. And I think, the commissioner can argue metrics, but all fans care about are championships. And what it's really, I think, saying is we don't like where we are, and maybe the Big Ten and the SEC can just go leave everyone else behind. What they're trying to say, and I had the president of Georgia, who, by the way, is a former U.S. attorney, former federal prosecutor, saying we've got to enforce the rules. And and meanwhile, Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding walked by the set, 2 guys who are just trashing the rules. I've always thought that was the commissioner's job, was to be in charge of mandating his league. But the problem is nobody can do anything anymore because of all the judicial intervention and going out and finding your favorite judge. So all this talk doesn't really mean anything because nobody wants to enforce the rules.
No, they sure as heck don't. One thing that came out of Big Ten meetings was it feels like they had like one message. And even Ryan Day said, look, I don't know if it benefits us to have a 24-team playoff, but I'm on board with it if it's what's best for the league. And I don't like it. I've said it a million times. I have no interest in it. But they were all rowing in the same direction. At the start of the week, I was very curious to see if Sankey could kind of get all of his lieutenants rowing in the same direction. Where was that 2014? By the way, I loved Elko's comments, right? I mean, those were classic. But where is did he get them in line as the week went along or not?
He did not. And you have one of the athletic directors from Tennessee talking 24. You've got a lot of other people saying the same thing. And I think that's, if you look at, I mean, we're a little too close. I mean, we're myopic. We watch this from right in front. But to me, the outtake is that this was supposed to be a coalescing of the league. It wasn't. Everybody is rolling in a different direction. All people care about in the age of NIL is survival. They're not really interested in helping out their friend. I mean, that's the hypocrisy of where we are. You hear all these presidents and ADs and talk about thoughtfulness. And I heard the athletic director from Arkansas, Hunter Yurachek, he has like a 10:30 Eastern time game at Utah. Then he plays the next week at home at 11 against Georgia. And he talked about the student athlete and their health and well-being. By the way, this guy is the chairman of the CFP, which is about to go to 24. He doesn't care about the well-being of these players because nobody does.
What you just said is on. I keep saying that reiterating to our audience. No one is trying to help anybody. they're all out to just stay alive as long as they can, and nothing tangible, I don't think, is going to get done anytime soon. I did want to ask you about these comments from Ted Cruz and this bipartisan Senate bill, and all of this stuff I kind of give it a grain of salt, but it seems like people are paying a little bit of attention to this one. One of the things that surprised me, Paul, was this idea of him wanting to get in front of a super league between the Big Ten and the SEC. Now, I did quibble with the idea of Baylor being a Cinderella because I'm not buying that at all. He had it on our buddy Andy and Ari's podcast. But in terms of that, where did that come from? And what is, as someone who's been around that league as long as you have, what do you think that's really about? Is that closer than people think?
No, I don't. I think some of that, and I talked to one of the senators who are the co-sponsors. There's two other ones. I think that was to appease the Democrats, get them on board. Now, not to get too deep in Washington, D.C. weeds, but you can take things out, and that's what will happen after a hearing next week. But my best guess is this isn't going to happen. Cruz, they were desperate to get this out there. This is the president's really underneath all this. A lot of the ideas for this came from Randy Levine, the president of the New York Yankees, and Cody Campbell, who are both friends of the president. And it's just, that's not going to work. I frankly think the Big Ten and the SEC should go it alone. But the only point I agree with Cruz is from an antitrust situation, that is a nightmare.
Yeah, I actually thought from an alignment standpoint, the ACC and the SEC, they're both under the ESPN umbrella. The Big 12, Big 10, at least primarily, are under the Fox umbrella. And really, these are the networks, as you know, that has a lot to do with all of this because it all ends up being about inventory. I did want to ask you, Sankey's comment surprised me about 16 being a Big 10 idea. I had not heard that before. I always thought that the Big 10, Petitti's going big to 24, and the SEC would say, okay, well, maybe we could do 16. What did you make of those comments? And then it made me think, well, God, is 24 just a means to get to 16?
I think 16 came about 3 or 4 years ago when the argument was going on about the SEC only playing 8 and the Big Ten playing 9, and I think it was thrown out there, and I do remember it, but it went away very quickly. The coaches felt about a year ago that if they went to 9, then we would go to 16. The SEC game would go away. I think it was there. I don't think it was ever in concrete, but I don't believe I think Petitti wants to go big because the magic number is anything above 14, as you know, because that's when the contract opens up, and that's where Fox comes into the equation.
Yeah, and that's the tail that's wagging the dog on all of this stuff. Let's do a couple of football things. Was there something that you learned talking to all of the coaches? And of course, every time they come on with you, everyone's got an agenda. But did you learn something in terms of, well, maybe this team's going to be a little bit better than I thought, or maybe this coach doesn't like his team as much as maybe I thought he would?
A little better about Alabama, talking to DeBoer and some of the other people, and I guess I bring that up is that they were forgotten. I mean, nobody's talking about Alabama anymore, and that's just the opposite of the way it used to be. Kiffin was intriguing, too, because Kiffin looked like he was on Quaaludes the whole 3 days. But what you hear underneath it is that Kiffin, he's not just, circumventing the rules. I mean, he's shattering them. I mean, the number floating around for his roster for the upcoming season was $60 million.
Gosh. That's all Raising Cane's, right? That's where that's coming from? Mostly?
I had my theory. Yeah, I can't say on the air because I think I'd be hauled into court, but I have a different theory that there's more than just chicken money. Remember, everybody's all in on that. The governor is the athletic director down there. Don't ever forget that.
That, just so people understand, that is exact. Think about that. This is okay. So I'm envious of you for that too. You get governors being athletic directors of schools down there. So you got a set that I'm envious of, and now you got governors being athletic directors, and that's all great content. Appreciate you, buddy, on a busy week. Thanks for your perspective today.
Thank you, both. Talk to you.
There he goes. That's Paul Finebaum. And you listen to that, and then you just say, well, this is all just a bunch of utter nonsense. It's just all talking points and nonsense. And I come back to, we did this in The Real Truth on Tuesday. Like, is anything going to change? No, I don't see anything tangible changing. That's why I always come back to the calendar, because I think that's an easy one that you can get fixed. Get a little victory before trying to win the entire war. We'll get Thing or Not a Thing coming your way next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. AmazonBusiness.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Hey, it's Common Man. Everybody's talking about affordability these days, but the good news is you'll find hundreds of vehicles that fit your budget at GoGermain.com. Drive home in a new sedan starting at just $139 a month. New SUVs from only $189 a month, or a truck for as low as $329. Plus, choose from over 1,700 new and pre-owned vehicles, all priced under $30K, and it's only at GoGermain.com. And with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Go see my friends today. GoGermain.com.
Hey, friends, Beamer here, and wow, time really does fly by. Last year feels like 2024. 10 weeks ago feels like yesterday. That's how quick Reclaim by Awaken 180 is and feels. 10 weeks to do what took you 5. 10 years to pile up the weight. 40 pounds gone in 10 weeks. That's what I did. That's what Awaken 180 Reclaim was built for. And I'm telling you, when that kind of weight comes off, life starts feeling a little bit different very fast. Your clothes fit differently, you move differently, you carry yourself differently. Even walking into a room feels different when you're not thinking about your weight before anything else. That's why Reclaim by Awaken 180 makes so much sense to me. It gives you a simple 10-week plan with a real beginning, a real end, and a real finish line. Not someday, not I'll figure it out. 10 weeks to finally go after it and achieve it. And the best part, keeping it off with free support for life. I did it, so you can definitely do it. Reclaim by Awaken 180. Start today at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, Central Ohio, Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and we buy houses for cash. If you've got a house you need to sell, this is your season. Inherited, behind on payments, just over it? Whatever brought you here, we can help. We buy as is, we cover all closing costs, and there are 0 commissions, period. Just a fair cash offer, and you choose your closing date. People are making moves right now, and we make it simple to be one of them. One call is all it takes. We'll get you a fair cash offer, fast, no pressure, no obligation. Hundreds of your neighbors have already sold the easy way, and we've got 5-star reviews and BBB A+ rating to back it up. Take what you want, leave what you don't. We're based right here in Columbus, and we're ready when you are. Call us at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, family owned. Call 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results, and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven. I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Common Man and Kimmy. Voted America's dumbest show by Marconi voters. Common Man is a Columbus radio legend. And by legend, I mean it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And Timmy is, well, Timmy will complain about anything and everything. And he kind of looks like a woman. Giggity, giggity, giggity. So there's that. Common Man and Timmy.
Sponsored by Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on The Fan. Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we're at the Virtues Golf Club with their head pro and GM Scott Holmes. Plus, get you set for next week's Memorial with Executive Director Dan Sullivan.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody. Work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Speaking with reporters on Thursday, Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson says he's thrilled to be in New York when the Knicks are in the NBA Finals.
It's cool to see, and I'm glad I'm up here for it. I'm rooting the Knicks on like hell. And yeah, man, that gives us a taste of what it might look like when we figure this thing out, which, we're excited for the opportunity.
Thing or not a thing?
So the way I read that is there's an energy when you win in a city like that is probably pretty infectious. And if you're the Jets, the game that they're playing, and quite honestly, I mean, they don't get much right. They haven't. It seems like they're playing it correctly is we're going to be really bad this year so that we can get the first crack at the quarterback. And it's kind of a race between them and Arizona. And if they get that quarterback, everything else is in a pretty good spot. Guys, I think they have something like 5 first-round picks over the next couple years. It's a ton. So they're going to get a lot of bites at the apple. They can get this thing good pretty quick. And I think Garrett, along with kind of the juice from the Knicks run, giving them a little bit of a positive outlook on what the future could be.
Yeah, I think this is a thing. Whenever the Knicks, the Knicks have always been an attraction, but whenever they're good, there's always an energy around Madison Square Garden in the New York Knicks, and we've seen it before with the New York Jets. When the New York Jets are good, those fans go crazy, and the Jets, Jets, and I'm sure Garrett Wilson has seen that before, and he feels this energy in New York right now around this Knicks team, and I'm sure he wants that again. He wants that feeling like he had when he played for Ohio State. So I'm guessing it is pretty exciting for him, and I don't think he's going to get that this year or
Not
maybe
this year.
even next year with the Jets, but maybe if they do things right, although I don't know if I have much faith in Woody Johnson's teenagers.
No, those kids are punks, and it probably won't. But guys, next year they had 2 first-round picks this year. They have 3 in 27. They have their own, which is going to be in the top 3 or 4 for sure by design. They have the Colts, which could be in the. They don't have Danny Dimes at the start. That could easily be a top 10-ish pick. And then they have the Cowboys one, which it's not like it's for sure the Cowboys are going 12-5. They could have 3 of the top 20 picks in what is considered by most to be an absolutely transformational loaded draft. It could flip quick.
Despite a 4-game sweep of the Cavaliers by the Knicks, TV ratings for the Eastern Conference Finals increased by 37% from 2025 to 2026. Across the 4 games, ESPN averaged 7.4 million viewers. It was also the most watched Eastern Conference Final since 2023 when the Heat and Celtics went to 7 games. Thing or not a thing?
So it is a thing in that anytime you can have a ratings increase in all of these sports where ratings are receding year to year, that's a positive. 7.4 million, that is also like what Ohio State, Iowa will do in college football. So it just also illustrates how everything other than football is just, this is New York and the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers over the last 20 years have been the most consistent, best franchise in the NBA, and the Knicks are the biggest market. And they did 7.4.
It's funny, Bo, because I was thinking about that and a 37% increase, and it does seem like to me that more people are talking about the NBA playoffs in general. Maybe that's just because the Cavs had such a run, but I feel like more people were talking about it, and it's not a surprise when we just said everything we said about New York, that if New York's involved, the numbers would be high. And then I was thinking, 7.4. That doesn't seem that much. Like the Preakness did 20.
Yeah.
And all these college football games are doing double-digit numbers. And the NFL, it's great for the NBA, though, because they do seem like, as much as their product is not for me right now, it does seem like they have stars in this league that can help them moving forward. But I would think they would got to get those numbers better than that.
I will say this for the ECF. You had two fairly non-competitive games over Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that's true. It's a sweep. It probably would have been better if it was competitive, so that's fair. So just to give you some context, Reese, what did you say the number was at average?
Average 7.4.
Okay. Ohio State football last season averaged 6.57. And included in that are games like on Peacock, BTN, garbage games, like 6.5. Michigan, Ohio State was 18.4. The Cotton Bowl against Miami was 19. Big Ten Championship was 18.3. Ohio State, Texas was 16.6.
I will say this. We'll get to some Texas on Texas crime, but Texas Tech's head coach Joey McGuire spoke Thursday as the Big 12 spring meetings wrapped up in Frisco, talking about Brendan Sorsby. Quote, I do believe he made a mistake. I do believe there should be consequences, but it's my opinion that he shouldn't be penalized for the rest of this year or his career, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
That's what you would say when you're him. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, Joey. He's going to be. He's never playing for you again. You can throw a Hail Mary. They got a hearing, Monday in a Lubbock court? You guys have seen... You've seen Django Unchained, right?
Yes.
Every time I say Lubbock, I say it like Dr. Fritz Schultz. Lubbock, Texas. That's how I say it. In my head, I say it that way every time. But I'm going to say not a thing because there's no chance. They're trying to throw a Hail Mary here. I don't think it's going to get caught. I think it's going to land, and it's going to be a big cautionary tale. I think Sorsy's going to end up in the NFL.
There is precedence here in sports, right? Pete Rose was never allowed back in the game. I don't think Emmanuel Clase and Ortiz are ever going to pitch again in the major leagues. And for Brendan Sorsby, as a 21, 22-year-old kid here, maybe he shouldn't be taken away from the game forever. But, however, you don't have a lot of time in college football, quite frankly. So guess what? You're out. Now, should he get a chance in the NFL? Maybe. But move along, kid. You forfeited your right to play college football. I'm sorry, but there are rules. And it doesn't matter if the rules sometimes are contradictory with the ESPN being, or with the college football being in bed with gambling sites and whatnot. You are not allowed, and you've never been allowed in the history of the world of any sport to bet on your own sport. So sorry, dude. You're of age. You made the decision. The people that helped you do this when you weren't of age to gamble at least should probably face some culpability in this too and get in trouble as well. But, dude, you're out. You forfeited it. Move along.
Dude, he's 18. Like, he's 18 when he started making these decisions. Yeah, no, there's no coming back. Ask Shoeless Joe Jackson. Ask anybody who's done this. Like, it's done. There's no coming back from it. So, yeah, he'll be in the NFL. By the way, he's going to get suspended in the league, too. I don't know if it'll be 4 or 6 or if it'll be a year. I don't know what it'll be. But he's going to enter the league with a suspension. That's happening.
Which I don't understand that either. It didn't happen on your watch. Like, I don't get that. That's dumb.
I know.
He can either play or he can't,
though.
But
yeah, they did precedent with Pryor, and I think it's they're like one olive branch to college football that they will actually extend. Like they don't want to be a get out of jail free card.
We're gonna kick your ass in the ratings when you're doing your playoff, but we'll slap him on the wrist
money
too.
That's money, Bake. They're not going to mess with the money ever.
San Diego Padres star Fernando Tatis Jr. lost his lawsuit against...
Hold on. I want to do this with the baseball salary cap thing at 11:20.
Okie dokie.
Because this, Reese, is, as I think we could all agree, I don't have time. I want to give this some attention because this is a fascinating story. Fascinating. So we're going to give this one a little bit of attention coming up at 11:20. It's a good find out of you, and I want to give it a little bit more attention than we'd have time to do now. What we learned this week coming up next, final hour, Doug at 11:30, Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Common Man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
As the saying goes, trust is earned, never given. When it comes to your roof, who you trust truly matters. At Newman Roofing, we're more than just a business. We're a local, family-owned company built on honesty, integrity, and hard work. From the very beginning, these core values have shaped the way we do business, ensuring a customer experience that's second to none. Our dedication to quality has earned us the trust of thousands of homeowners across Central Ohio. At Newman Roofing, excellence isn't just a word, it's our promise to you. From the moment we step foot on your doorstep to the final handshake, we strive to deliver an experience that keeps you calling back for more. Whether you need a roof repair or a full replacement, our team at Newman Roofing is here to protect what matters most. After all, when your name is on it, it just means more. So give us a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money, and the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
That's the sound of Ellie De La Cruz stealing third. That's the sound of you stealing third. Right now at UDF, buy any 2 bottled beverages and get the third one free. Any bottle, any flavor, anything you're thirsty for. Soda, energy, coffee, and more. Buy 2 bottled drinks, get the third free with Ellie Steals Third. Now at United Dairy Farmers. Some restrictions may apply.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
This is possibly the biggest Honda sale in Ohio.
Lindsay Honda's Trade-a-thon is on. Trade your car, truck, boat, or even motorcycle now. Drive a gas-sipping new 2026 Civic Hatchback Hybrid Sport Touring. A very low $279 a month. Or a new 2026 CRV Hybrid Trail Sport all-wheel drive. Just $369 a month. Do you want more for your trade? See Lindsay Honda now.
Trade-a-thon puts you in the driver's seat for less.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, it's important to us that when you call Pella Columbus, you talk to a real person.
You should hear how smooth it is when you call us.
You calling right now?
Yep. Oh, here we go. New windows. No. New window. Operator.
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Spring is here. Now's the time to get your air conditioner ready with a $49 AC tune-up from Columbus Worthington Air. An AC tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Proudly serving Columbus homeowners for 90 years and counting. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit cwaohio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
You've
got better things to do this summer than deal with old appliances. That's why right now at Lowe's, you can still get in on Memorial Day savings and get up to 45% off select major appliances. Plus, get up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. It's time to upgrade what's outdated. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/3. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese. Sir, it was a day off Thursday for the Reds and Guardians. Both teams will begin weekend homestands on Friday. Cincinnati hosts Atlanta tonight at 6:40. You can hear that game over on the Fan 2. That's 1460 on the AM dial. As for Cleveland, the Boston Red Sox are at Progressive Field for a 3-game set that begins tonight at 7:10. In the NBA last night, the Spurs forced Game 7 out west with a 118-91 win over the Thunder in Game 6. OKC is going to host Game 7 tomorrow night at 8. Winner takes on the Knicks in the NBA Finals. Game 1 of that series will be on Wednesday. On the ice tonight in Carolina, the Hurricanes host the Canadiens in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina leads 3-1 in the best of 7. Montreal can force a home Game 6 with a win tonight. John Tortorella and the Las Vegas Golden Knights await in the Stanley Cup Final. And in college football, we're under 100 days from the Buckeyes and the Ball State Cardinals. Both the Big Ten and Big 12 are zeroing in on a 24-team playoff. Doug Lesmerises covers Big Ten and Ohio State football and has some thoughts on the SEC. He'll join Bo Bishop in 30 minutes right here on The Fan.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour on a Friday edition of the program. I just saw this before we get to what we learned this week. I just saw this in the break. Ohio is the only state in the union that has not forecasted a drop of rain in the next week. I have no idea if that's true or not, but God, if it is, we deserve it.
Well, I told you the extended said nothing till Friday, and even then it was just a 40% chance.
This is we have put in our time, boys. We deserve this. We deserve a little sun-kissed here for a week after that spring. I was going to say, Bo, yesterday I was out watching a couple of softball games, and it was, I got a little bit of sun on me. Mm-hmm. It was windy enough that it wasn't too hot. I wasn't sweating like crazy. And I was remembering looking at that forecast, and I was like, we complain a lot about the weather on this show, but if we're going to get 10 straight days of this, I think we need to give Mother Nature a little applause. Here's what you have to do, though. You have to just ignore and erase from your mentality the idea that our weather here right now is like Santa Barbara, San Diego always. Like 72 and breezy every single day, like those lucky punks. Let's see what we learned this week, kids.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Make a reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
So, guys, I think the number one thing for me is last week the Big Ten met out in Southern California. This week the SEC met in Destin. The Big Ten is far more organized. They've got good. You could probably do some Civil War analogies here. The Big Ten is far more organized. They're far more locked into the plan, and they row in the same direction. They understand the mission, and they are very direct in it. The SEC is scattershoot, is what it is. I mean, there are everybody has an opinion on everything, and they're not aligned on anything. And the more and more, and I'm looking at the bipartisan bill in the Senate, and we played some of that Ted Cruz audio for you. I'm resigned to the fact that while I just want a little victory with the schedule, or I just want a little victory in 5 to play 5, or I just want a little victory on some sort of restriction of complete and true free agency where you're re-recruiting your team every year, that the powers that be in this sport insist on trying to fix all of it with one pen stroke. It's not going to work. It's way too complicated. There are way too many self-serving entities in this that are not thinking about the good of the sport and only to try and stay above water for one more year, month, day. That there is not going to be any real tangible change with any of this other than because they can't get anything done, they're going to keep trying to find ways to find money. And that's kind of the only thing I took from it. I was optimistic a couple of weeks ago that maybe we could get the calendar fixed. Maybe we could do the 5 for 5. Some wins. Give me a win. Now I'm kind of resigned to, I think we're going to be in the status quo for a little while, fellas. And I just think the lack of organization at the top of the sport makes that an inevitability to me at the moment.
Yeah, I am interested to see what they call the next piece of legislation. This one was the Protect College Sports Act. The SAVE Act, I think, is still trying to make its way through committees in our nation's capital. It's very easy to be cynical in all of this. I'm appreciative that they are having more and more discussions at the highest level. Mm-hmm. It's not needed. We've never sat here and said, boy, you know what would really be a fix? The federal government. Yet everybody who has a title that matters in college football has at some point, or college athletics has at some point said we need federal something. We need legislation. Or they love using the term guardrails. There are no guardrails that can be put on this by people at the government level, because does anything have guardrails really anymore?
Not really.
When you talk about the conglomeration that's happened amongst corporations, the conglomerating, I guess I should say, there's like antitrust laws that prevent that. And I'm winking. I'm not winking, but you're winking so hard. It's me saying that it's being ignored.
Yeah.
So if they can't do that at a federal level anywhere in the country, we're really expected something like this that is so complex to be fixed with a piece of legislation that's voted on by people who can't agree on anything?
Yep.
Bo, I think the dysfunction that you talked about in the SEC makes me believe that this 2014 playoff it makes me more on the side of it's coming in 2027, because more and more information is getting out. It seemed like the SEC, because you always just heard from Sankey, like, oh, we're just going to get behind Greg and go. But that doesn't seem to be the case. What is it? 9 of 14 coaches polled want the 2014 playoff. They want the access for their teams. So I don't know how much longer Sankey can continue to go up to the podium and give the ESPN rhetoric that they don't want the playoff to expand, because the coaches and the teams do want it to happen. So I'm convinced more than ever now that the 2014 playoff is coming sooner than later.
Two things on that. Number one, it's the presidents that Sankey answers to. So in some instances, these coaches are more powerful than the presidents, but certainly not all. So it's the presidents that they answer to. And you're probably right. Because you know what a 2014 playoff is? Found money. And that's the only thing that they can all agree that they need to have is more money. So it could happen. I don't think it's going to happen in 2027, because I think ESPN is still a little too powerful, because as Paul Finebaum said when we had him on at 10:30, and you can get that wherever you get your podcast. Also, I'm pretty sure we put it always up on social. He said if it goes above 14, then that allows for the other networks to jump in. So I think ESPN is powerful enough right now.
They can hold it off.
For a little while longer, Reese. It's inevitable, but I think for a little while longer. I don't think you'll see a change for 2027 to 24, but it's coming. I do think it's coming, and that part I think is inevitable.
Speaking of a 2014 playoff, Bo, I just saw this. Austin Meek of The Athletic has, if the CFP expands to 24 teams, Michigan and Ohio State should play in October. We may have just found a topic for Monday on the show.
What did he say?
He said if the playoff expands to 24 teams, Ohio State and Michigan should play in October.
You know, if you were to hook Kyle Whittingham and Ryan Day up to a lie detector, they might just agree with you.
Yeah, I don't.
They'll never say it publicly,
but
yeah, they may just agree with you. If you just think about, forget all of it, which is basically what college football wants us to do anyway, right? They want us to forget all of the history and all the pageantry and all of the things that made it special, and they want us to just continue to adapt and evolve, and this is the new time, and this is what we get. We keep telling this what we got to do. This is where the sport is demanding. Sport's not demanding it. You're demanding because you're trying to find more money. But if you just take it from a football perspective, like if you were coaching Ohio State and Michigan, would you want that game right before you embarked on the 2014 playoff? God, no. God, no. Think of NFL teams at the top. Like a lot of times they rest guys the last 2 weeks once they're in, once they have their seating locked in, which is something that none of us want unless you're coaching a team. I mean, just like that news this week that the SEC is getting rid of the cupcake game before the big rivalry game. You think the coaches want that? You think if you're Kalen DeBoer at Bama, you want to go from playing Mercer to playing Texas A&M before playing Auburn? No. They had it pretty sweet and smart, by the way, to put it at that spot. But yeah, I think coaches will lean into that. You got to be pretty careful. There is so much arrogance right now at the top of the sport that it's almost like, well, people will watch no matter what. And for the most part, I'm with them. I think that we've proven that. We had people 25 years ago saying it with the Kaepernick stuff, like, well, I'm never, or 15 years ago with the Kaepernick, I'm never watching the NFL again. You're lying. There's nothing ancillary that makes people not watch a sport that is as powerful as football is in this country. It just isn't. And so, to a point. And I think that's kind of where they're inching closer to. And by the way, I think the NFL's in a similar spot. We don't talk about it much. But I don't think the NFL, are you guys aware of this? The NFL opens its season on a Wednesday. They go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, week one.
Isn't it Wednesday because they're in Australia Thursday?
No, the Australia game's, the Australia game's Thursday, Reese. But there's no reason to start at Wednesday. The Australia game is Thursday at 8:30. It's the same time as the normal Thursday opener is. So the NFL is at a point of oversaturation, too.
It's so
I think
silly.
both of them, the analogy that I think of with this is, if you are an addict and you're chasing that next high, and you chase it, and you chase it, and you chase it, eventually you reach the point where you can't get higher. And then it crashes. And it feels like both are approaching that point as it stands right now. College football getting there because it's so unorganized faster than the NFL. But there's been plenty of conversation here in the last couple of weeks about the NFL thinking that the streamers are going to come in and give them exponentially more than they already are. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's coming the way that people think it is. A lot of those are pretty well established. You better be careful with the ultimate greed that you continue to chase. Speaking of greed, Major League Baseball could be headed for work stoppage, and I want to get to this Fernando Tatis story as well, because that is a fascinating, lack of a better term, investment strategy that is taking place on that. Before we get to all of that, let me tell you this. When you've been around for a while, you learn a few things, like, for example, for me, I hope radio. But for pests like ants and termites, I'm clueless. That's why I turned to my friends at Rose Pest Solutions. Over 165 years of experience, they've mastered their craft as the nation's oldest family-owned pest control company. The pros from Rose protect Columbus homes and businesses with expert prevention and treatment. Got a pest problem? Rose is the solution. Call 800-966-ROSE or visit rosepestsolutions.com. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Welcome back to What Is That Thing? Today our guest is
Dr. Melvin Parsbrucker. I invented the sump pump.
Ah, the sump pump. I've heard Apex pros talk about those.
Yes, the pros who knows are true experts in sump pumpology.
So, doctor, what is that thing?
You see, a sump pump is a device designed to pump out sump.
Sump?
For the pump.
You say the pump Pump.
Sump.
Sump. And what exactly is sump?
It's what gets pumped.
I want to be sure I'm hearing you right. Sump?
Sump.
And that's what gets
pumped. Look, maybe Apex Pros can explain it at your level.
Well, Apex Pros says some pumps are made to keep groundwater from accumulating and flooding your basement, especially this time of year with the big spring rains and the uniquely shallow water table in and around Franklin County. A simple sump pump can protect your home from tens of thousands of dollars in damage.
It's made to sump the pump.
Of course.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Whether you're repping the orange and brown or shouting Hoo Day, the ultimate football pilgrimage is closer than you think. Ditch the living room, get the family on the road, and make the short drive to greatness and visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. From the backyard to the gridiron, it's the one place where every fan comes together to create new family memories. Make it a weekend to remember and see why Ohio truly is the heart of football. Visit ProFootballHof.com and plan your visit today.
Guess which store is celebrating their 50th anniversary, and you'll get up to $180 off sets of Goodyear tires. Okay, here's a hint.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
What's up? It's Iceman. McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion is having a Made to Remember, and they want to help you hit the road in style. Lease a brand new 2026 Chevy Trax LT for as low as $175 a month, or purchase for as low as $319 a month with only $1,000 down. This offer is for the month of May only. See dealer for details. Terms and conditions apply. Take delivery by June 1st, 2026. McDaniel GM Superstore is just a short drive up Route 23 off 95 in Marion. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Planning to buy a home in 2026? Not sure where to start? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency can help. With a step-by-step homebuyer's guide and financial tools, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency can make homeownership part of your future. Eligible homebuyers may qualify for down payment assistance and reduced mortgage interest rates. To see if you qualify and to find a mortgage lender, visit myohiohome.org.
Is it time to renew your Medicaid coverage? Don't miss out. When you renew your AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio benefits on time, you keep more than just your health care. You keep your extra perks too. That means doctor visits, dental, vision, plus extra benefits like school supply funds, baby essentials, rewards for health trivia games, and more. Don't risk losing the coverage and extras your family counts on. Visit AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com/renew today. That's AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com/renew.
Common Man and Timmy are inviting select jabronis to the station for pizza. Hey, that could be you. Email goodcleanboy@gmail.com and tell us why you should be chosen.
Presented by Billiards Plus and sponsored by Paisano Peppers.
The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Wow, it's going to be a beautiful end of the work week for us as temperatures get right around 80 degrees with plenty of sunshine. And then for tonight, partly cloudy and very refreshing with lows down into the 50s. We kick off the weekend with mostly sunny skies and highs in the mid to low 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Reese's mustache is so nice, it has its own area code. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, you have the you had this in Thing or Not a Thing. Pretty interesting story. Go ahead about Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, so San Diego Padres star Fernando Tatis lost his lawsuit against Big League Advance. So Tatis was paid $2 million when he was in the minor leagues in exchange for 10% of his future earnings. He's saying it's not a loan. They bought equity in Fernando, is what this Big League Advance did. If Tatis didn't make it to the big leagues, he didn't have to repay the $2 million, but he did, and then signed a 14-year, $340 million contract. So he owed $34 million to this Big League Advance. And Tatis had even said good things about this company. The $2 million allowed him to hire a personal trainer, upgrade his apartment, eat better food, live a better life so that he could become the player that he was given a 14-year, $340 million contract for. Then he owed the money. Tatis then sued the company, alleging they used predatory tactics to lure him into an investment deal that was really an illegal loan. Judge said that's not the case. The agreement was upheld earlier in the week. Tatis has even ordered to pay Big League Advance's legal fees. So on top of the legal fees, he's got to pay the $34 million because that's what the contract says.
And he should.
Yes.
He should. This is an agreement that was put in place. I'm giving you this. This is life-changing money now. You do not have to pay me back if you amount to nothing. If there is a catastrophic injury, then you amount to nothing. The $2 million is yours. Start your life in another direction. However, if you hit the lottery athletically, we're getting 10% of that. This feels like a very cut and dry case, and it pleases me that the judge saw it that way as well. I'm sure it sucks to Tatis to realize that, and maybe he didn't read the fine print on it. I don't know what the hell he thought it was. Like, people just giving him money for free? I mean, I don't understand, like, what you thought was happening here. And 10%'s a lot. It's a lot. But so is a $2 million advance. That's a lot. And this isn't just baseball. Like, this is happening in football, too. And I know for a fact there are guys who have done this, gotten the $2 million and not panned out, and they keep the $2 million or $3 million or whatever it is. So there's both sides to this. It's an investment strategy in that it's like buying a stock or anything else. And in this instance, it hit pretty big.
Bo, I feel like you should go back and sue the credit card company in college that
it's predatory.
Was a predator on you.
That's predatory. 29% interest.
That is predatory. This is not predatory.
So I think this is interesting that he would do this because Fernando Tatis Jr.'s dad played in the major leagues.
He sure did.
You would think that he and the family understood all of this and whatnot. And it's interesting, Bo, because we were talking in the break. This company has 700 clients right now, by the way. Mm-hmm. And one of them is Ellie De La Cruz, so they're about to cash in big again. Mm-hmm. But say they have 15 clients that they all gave $2 million. Mm-hmm. 14 of them don't pan out, but one of them's Fernando Tatis. Mm-hmm. You're still up $4 million.
That's the business.
And so it's a heck of a business for them. And Fernando Tatis was probably going to turn out to be Fernando Tatis regardless, but would he have gotten that contract right away if he didn't have that $2 million to help him train and get himself in the best shape and be ready for the big leagues as soon as he got there at a young age? So I'm sure Fernando Tatis was probably just trying to get out of paying so much. Like, hey, maybe I'll give you guys 20 instead of 34. But yeah, like, you signed the agreement. I don't believe you were 16 when you did it, because I don't think you could have. So
I don't know if you can even watch this anymore. I'm not sure if the archive is on HBO Max or not, but one of the great losses in terms of sports journalism was the loss of Real Sports on HBO when it went away. They used to do, for the kids out there, Bryant Gumbel hosted it. They had these incredible reporters. They would do one episode a month is kind of what it was. And it was 3 to 4 long-form stories. Some were lighthearted. Some were exploratory. One of them was this. They did this story on this group that did this. And I want to say Bryant Gumbel did the story. In my mind's eye, he actually did it himself. But it was such a revealing thing about how this happens and how they have, like, they're scouting to make sure that they get enough Fernando Tatises to be able to make this work, because you got to get these type of guys, because you're going to lose a bunch on the guys I'm talking about as an examples. You're going to lose a bunch of those. There's far more often than not, you're going to lose. But if you hit a couple of big ones, then it all works out. And that's the scouting part that goes into it. And they have analytics departments and all of this stuff to make sure that these kids that are coming through are, enough of them can reach this ultimate spot. The best example of this is Yasiel Puig. Do you guys remember him?
So wasn't his like a crime syndicate in Cuba that was funneling refugees
to
the United States?
Yeah, they smuggled him out of Cuba underneath a boat into Mexico, and then that got him up. That got him through, got him out of Cuba, and then he was shot out of a cannon with the Dodgers. And I mean, he was Bo Jackson and cleats.
Then I think they came after like his family.
It was ugly.
Yeah.
It got real. That isn't this, but that's the type of stuff that happens a lot. So, like, I have no issue with this at all. And to me, this is just kind of part of the doing business.
And what's the difference in this, or Michigan investing $2 million, $20 million or whatever it was, getting $2 billion out of their investment?
Nothing.
There's nothing. In this company, Ellie De La Cruz signs a $500 million contract, and that's not his career earnings. That's just his next contract. They're going to get $50 million at least on that $2 million investment.
You never want to be the example in a situation like this, but Fernando Tatis is an example 2000s.
Yeah.
That be careful, because if a company like this or this company itself comes your way, they're getting what they've paid. Like, they're going to get their investment back.
Yeah, and you're going to get yours. He got the $2 million.
Yeah.
So that's part of the deal, right? Like, that's a lesson for the kids. There is no free money in America, in the world. It doesn't exist. Strings are always attached to all of it. So I want to run this by you guys, because you guys are the baseball guys. One of you loves the Reds, the other loves the Gardos. Major League Baseball has proposed a salary cap to the MLBPA that would come in at $245 million on the ceiling, and then you got to have a floor of $171.2. This blew my mind that there are only 6 teams in Major League Baseball currently operating above the floor. That is stupefying to me that many teams in Major League Baseball would be above the proposed floor. Now, they put the proposed floor in to give the PA a chance. PA is not going to go for this at all. They want no issue in a salary cap whatsoever. Let me ask you guys this, as owners, as fans of those two teams. Do you think that the Cleveland Guardians ownership and the Cincinnati Reds ownership wants a proposed floor?
No.
Not at all.
They don't
That's why they haven't had one yet.
They don't want to be told anything.
No. They're business. They're in business. They're not trying. They don't want to say you have to spend this.
Now, there could be new Guardians ownership at the end of the 2027 season, and David Blitzer and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
So maybe they're okie dokie with spending money. Certainly Blitzer, by what he's done, I think with the Devils and Sixers, would be okay for this. But certainly not the Dolans. Certainly not the owners of the Pirates. Certainly not the Castellinis.
When you see that there are 14 teams operating below this proposed floor, and 12 of them are $25 million or more below it, that tells you all you need to know about baseball right now. These guys are in this for making money, and that is it.
Now, Eric, baseball fan, would be thrilled.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm also a fan of the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
So
I saw this from our friend Matt Fontana, too. The Mets would literally need to cut the Guardians' entire payroll to make it below the ceiling of the salary cap.
So the Mets are $88 million over.
And they suck.
They do. The plucky little Dodgers are $55 million over. The Yankees $46 million over the proposed. Toronto, Philly, and Atlanta are the other ones. The farthest below the proposed floor is the Miami Marlins. I have no idea how they possibly got hoodwinked that city into building them a stadium. $92 million under. Cleveland $90 million under. White Sox $80. Gosh.
Which, when you see that number from the Guardians, it makes what their front office has done.
It's incredible.
So impressive.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
The competitive, how competitive that franchise has been with the financial restraints from the owners.
Yeah. Really is. Doug observed a week of SEC meetings. I'm guessing he'll have thoughts. He joins us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win. Like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Hey, Columbus. Buy a new Ford at the same price of Ford employee pays. No markup, no haggling. Right now, Capital Ford of Columbus, get employee pricing on F-150s, Super Duties, Explorers, Mustangs, and more. Thousands in savings. This deal ends soon. Come to Capital Ford today, priced for you.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
You've got better things to do this summer than deal with old appliances. That's why right now at Lowe's, you can still get in on Memorial Day savings and get up to 45% off select major appliances. Plus, get up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. It's time to upgrade what's outdated. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/3. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get smarter. We head out on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline conversation with our good buddy Doug Lesmerises, the Bill and Doug Show on YouTube, BillandDougOSU.substack.com. Well, we had a week of the Big Ten in Southern California, followed by a week of the SEC in Destin. What did you learn, my friend?
I thought the SEC was defensive. I think they're not as united as the Big Ten, and I just found it so funny that the SEC has dominated this spring window in college football for so long, and the first year that the Big Ten really did anything and got publicity around it, Greg Sankey was like, why is everyone making a big deal about spring meetings? And it was like, oh. So when it was just you, it was a big deal, and now that it's not just you, it's like this is overhyped. So I thought that even the idea that the Big Ten went first, I just thought the SEC was in a defensive position the whole week, that everything they were doing was sort of like answering, to what the Big Ten had said. And even when it's like, well, we're the deepest conference or whatever, again, it feels to me like rather than, like pounding their chest, it feels more like grasping at straws for what they're trying to do.
Buddy, he's referencing a playoff game from 2 years ago. Yeah. Analytically, in terms of how close they were. I mean, like, that's where. So, yeah, it was incredibly defensive. You and I have wanted the Big Ten to go on the offensive in this in a very, very long way. I still don't think they did it the way that they should have. I think their location for their meetings was remote and ultra expensive and very difficult for the people who really write and talk about the league to get to. And I think that was an abject failure. So, and to your point, though, Doug, Sankey, out of one side of his mouth saying, I don't know why you're making such a big deal about this. Doug, he had 2 press conferences.
I know.
Down there. He had 2 press conferences.
Right. Yeah,
this isn't a big deal, but I'm willing to talk more.
Why'd you bring the backdrops, man? They got those SEC logos behind everybody who's talking. Like, those don't show up by themselves.
It's incredible.
Somebody packed those up. So, I mean, it's just, and then I do like, again, it's, I'm always intrigued, right? We know this is the SEC versus the Big Ten. They're the 2 powers that be. And then in some other ways, it's the SEC and the Big Ten versus everybody else, right? Yeah. If you ask ACC fans and Big 12 fans and Group of 6 fans, it's like, what do you mean SEC versus Big Ten? They're trying to railroad us. But yet, right, the Big 12 and the ACC, they're on the side of the 24. And then the SEC winds up kind of like in little side battles with the Big 12 while they were down there, right? Like this Texas thing becomes a thing. And so, like, I even like the idea of, I don't, it's not just 2 sides. There is a third side. The Big 12 and the ACC have to do what's best with them. But I think at the moment, they're sort of like taking more pot shots at the SEC than they are the Big Ten, which again is like, okay, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, like that. It feels like the SEC is isolated, right? Mm-hmm. And rather than being like the SEC is alone at the top of the sport and they're on an island, but the island is, Greenland, it's gigantic. Now they're on an island and the island is like, it's Bermuda, right? Like they're still alone, but they're alone in a different way that I find very appealing.
Yeah, and they're not aligned. We saw that this week where the Big Ten, I mean, even Ryan, who said, 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure if it's good for Ohio State to go to 24, but he was doing the right thing, I think, for the league and saying, I'll support it and we'll row in the same direction as this giant behemoth that the Big Ten is. One of the things that surprised me, and I take all of this legislation from Washington with a grain of salt, Doug, because as soon as I start breaking it down, I'm like, yep, that's in litigation, that's in litigation, that's in litigation, that won't work, that's written by somebody who doesn't understand what's going on. So the one thing that I did think interesting, though, was in the bipartisan bill that Ted Cruz is a part of, and he was on with our buddy Ari Wasserman and on the Andy and Ari show, was this notion of making sure that the Big Ten and the SEC don't form a super league, which then led me to believe, well, is that just incredibly out in front of something, or is that closer than I think it is, because I think that their television partners lead that one to be a long ways apart. What did you kind of make of that part of the legislation?
Yeah, I do. I more agree with you that I don't want to read into any of that stuff too much, because I don't feel like there is necessarily cohesive expertise in that, right? And it's hard to be, we were talking about this on our show this week. Like, it's interesting to me that college football, as we talked about, second most popular sport in America. The NFL rules everything, but college football's next. Mm-hmm. But yet it still feels like a niche sport in a lot of ways, right? That there's still it's evolving so much, but yet there's such a specific tradition to it that I do feel like when you have people who aren't dealing in college football every single day trying to figure things out about it, it's weird, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think you could overread into it and be like, oh, what do they know that they're not exactly saying, or what have they heard? But I think they might just be like, oh, we read a story on Yahoo Sports about a super league. That sounds weird. Put that in the bill, right?
You might be right.
And I'm not sure, so I don't want to know, because, honestly, you know more than anybody writing that bill. And that's because the people writing the bill have a whole country to run. Yeah. You have a sports show in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. So I'm going to listen to Bo more than the bill. So, I'm circumspect about, don't give them more credit than they deserve.
I couldn't agree with you more on all of that. I kind of left the last 2 weeks, I said this earlier in the hour, I kind of left the last 2 weeks just resigned that nothing significant is going to change in the foreseeable future, Doug. I just think it's too far away for everybody. And one of the things that's really frustrating to me is it's kind of like conversation. I don't know if you had these conversations. I know your girls are older, so maybe this isn't, but I'm sure you had these conversations. My wife sometimes will say, and I suppose I do it the other way, here are all of the things I have an issue, or all of the things we got to get done in the weekend, let's say. Let's just say she does it. And then I'll say, well, all right, let me just do this one and get it done, and then I'll move on to the next. And I think college football right now is trying to solve all of its problems at once instead of just doing one little thing to get it right. And I think the reason for that is no one is thinking collectively. They're all just thinking of, how can I get to next season? How can I get to the next day? And so there isn't really anybody thinking about the long-term health of any of it. They're all just trying to keep the gravy train going as long as they can with as little change to their routine as possible.
Yeah, it is hard because the bill, right, is trying to cover a lot of different things. And, as you just said, and we've talked before, there are times when it feels like everything in college sports happens in a silo. Well, we're going to do this. It's well, did you think about how that might affect that? So I do think, again, it takes leadership, it takes comprehensive thinking, it takes connectivity. But the thing that I still keep thinking about in the end is even the idea, I thought maybe one of the more interesting things that came out of SEC stuff is that the idea of maybe they're open to collective bargaining. Mm-hmm. Right, that got floated, that idea. And again, I think it's just baby steps toward that, which is, how do you solve all this stuff in the end? Well, in the end, you have to have two sides of the table. And when everyone's on the same side of the table, that's why, there's pushback against the bill, because it feels like it's too top down. Is it benefiting the players enough? It's well, how do you really work this out in the end? And so I just think that's the final solution. It's baby steps along the way. If you have a real player's side that then is talking and, has equal power in it, I think that's when you're forced to compromise and think big picture. But baby steps towards that is interesting. But the thing, and again, here we are, we're talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The thing that it's like, I like talking about football. And so like there is part of it that's like, sometimes it's like I'm more interested in the where does Julian Sayin rank among Big Ten quarterbacks, which we all do, right? And it's fun, but I do think there's a part of me that I almost want it to be settled so we can just talk about ball, right? Yeah. Because it is so in flux, and why I don't think we should rush into it. It's also like, man, like 10 more years of this stuff, like lawsuits and agents and like I just. That everybody wants rules, but then the minute a rule is applied, you're going to sue for your exception to it, right? Don't we all agree that you shouldn't gamble on your own team, but yet Texas Tech is going to fight the ruling on Brendan Sorsby? It's like, what are we doing, right? Everybody, you're out for yourself, and if you act like you're out for the greater good, you're really talking out of both sides of your mouth.
This will be one off topic that I'm going to spring on you. We stumbled into this earlier in the week. In your opinion, who are the three most powerful coaches in college football at the moment? Most powerful coaches.
Kirby. Mm-hmm. Kirby definitively.
Yep.
I don't know if I know the answer to the other two, because I feel like Kirby's taken the Saban role, right? And he has two national champions for it. It's like, is Ryan in the discussion? Certainly Ryan's in the discussion. Am I sure he's one of the top three? I don't know, because I don't know if there is a second. Like, where's Marcus Freeman fit in there? Like, probably not. Like, cause Dabo maybe could have been once upon a time, but he hasn't adapted to the times and he's not winning, so probably not him. Like, is Sark in there? But Sark seems more like yapping than powerful.
Yep.
So I do maybe Lanning and Day. Maybe Lanning and Day are two, because to your point, I did think it was powerful that both Lanning and Day at the Big Ten meeting said this might not be best for us, but it's best for the sport with the 2014 playoff. And that's the kind of thing that a leader says, because not many other people are saying things that are not just about their team and their program. So it might be Kirby, Lanning, and Day.
So it's interesting. So you ended up there. So we all went Kirby and Day. Bake went Lanning. Reese went Signetti, and I went Marcus. Just because of and I think it's an inordinate and probably inappropriate amount of power that Notre Dame still has. And so, like, he kind of represents that. So, like, he gets a seat at the table because Notre Dame gets a seat at the table.
Right.
But you mentioned all three of those. You mentioned all three of those in your so, like, yeah. But it's, to me, I do think Ryan's at that table, and then I think the third one is really interesting. Kirby, absolutely. He's the whole face of Southern football. And then Ryan would be the guy here, and then beyond that, it gets kind of interesting when you start thinking about the third.
Yeah, and because is Signetti out there pounding the pavement, like making, like, let's change the sport for the good, or is Signetti just like, I'm driving the Indy pace car, we won the national title, everybody can eat my dust? I don't know if Kurt Signetti is trying to change the face of the sport. Day and Lanning are both like young enough, and again, like, I think. And it's hard. On one hand, somebody like Marcus, who, again, I don't know that he's pounding the table anywhere for anything. Like, Notre Dame is powerful, but yet it's such an SEC Big Ten world. It's just going to stick with me what Lanning and Day said, because I do the continuing conversation of, like, is anybody looking out for the greater good? And you can disagree with them. Yeah. But if they're even part of their thinking is not just me, it's us, it's the collective, that matters.
You've seen Borat, right?
Yep.
You remember, as you were doing all that with Signetti, I was just thinking him of doing King in the Castle with Signetti. Like, I don't think he cares about anything. He's living his best life. He's at the Indy 500. He's King of the Castle, buddy. Good stuff as always.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, and I'm fascinated, like, what Indiana and Ohio State is and could become, like, what this game's going to be, how long Signetti sticks around. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm super, like, I love what Indiana and Signetti are for the Big Ten and for Ohio State as a foil. So I hope he keeps saying King of the Castle, and Ryan Day and the Buckeyes keep trying to climb the walls, man.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, buddy. Good stuff as always. Talk to you soon.
I'll see you. Thanks.
All right, there he goes, Doug Lesmerises, the Bill and Doug Show on YouTube, BillandDougOSU.substack.com. 3 things on a Friday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward, and wouldn't this sound nice? Reduced joint pain, improved libido, restful sleep, and lower anxiety. Weight loss may be the goal, but the added benefits by doing it with Awaken 180 are endless. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, it's Common Man. Everybody's talking about affordability these days, but the good news is you'll find hundreds of vehicles that fit your budget at GoGermain.com. Drive home in a new sedan starting at just $139 a month. New SUVs from only $189 a month, or a truck for as low as $329. Plus, choose from over 1,700 new and pre-owned vehicles, all priced under $30K, and it's only at GoGermain.com. And with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Go see my friends today. GoGermain.com.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I'm Tony Rosati with Rosati Windows, and we are seeking experienced window and door installers to help us take care of our customers. As Central Ohio's #1 employee-owned window company, we offer competitive pay and consistent year-round work. We manufacture our own windows right here locally, so quality and responsiveness are built into every job, and will keep you working local right here in Columbus. If you're ready to stay busy and be a part of a team that delivers for its customers, don't wait. Give us a call today at 614-777-4806 and ask for Sam.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Columbus Worthington Air. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. At CWA, we treat your home like it's our own, with safe, reliable service backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit CWAOhio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Celebrate America's 250th anniversary right here in Ohio. America 250 Ohio is partnering with communities across the state to bring events and experiences to all 88 counties all year long. Explore Ohio's history on dynamic driving trails, enjoy Ohio-related movie screenings, or attend engaging history talks, plus so much more. See the full calendar of events and discover what's happening near you at America250-ohio.org. Sponsored by the Ohio History Connection, aired by the OAB and this station.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
May the savings be with you at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, lease a new 26 Elantra SE for $59 per month for 2 years. Just $59 a month for the May mega sale. This month only. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glexhyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.95 down plus tax, title, first month payment, 7,500 miles per year, and 6/1.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money. And the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Good news. Jack has personally invited the Fan to the Memorial Tournament, and we're broadcasting 30 hours of live content, and we'll try not to embarrass ourselves.
Sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org. The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what in the poll today?
So the Daily Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, who's going to win Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals? That's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in Oklahoma City. Your options, the Spurs, the Thunder, don't care. 44% say they don't care. 32% say the Thunder, 24% say the Spurs.
We keep having to remind, don't put don't care on there. That can't be an option. So we did a poll, and we didn't put don't care on it, and then you get
Dazed
answers.
and confused. 57% of respondents say that's the best last day of school movie.
Look at that, Bo.
Over Superbad.
We had it up against Superbad.
And I've actually gotten some, I got an email about it from John, and then we've gotten some chatter in the YouTube chat about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, an entire school year that did not focus on the last day. But John says it was an all-time favorite for him.
Well, yeah. Another one I got was American Pie.
Yep, that's what I was just going to say, but they didn't really
That's
focus.
prom.
Yeah, it's more prom and doesn't focus on the last day of school.
And it's also although it kind of is last day of schoolish, right? Because Ostreicher, that's this championship game and he doesn't play in it. That's his last game, so that would be at the end of the year. So it's like the East Great Falls prom, is that in the end of May? Must have. That part, the timeline didn't make sense to me. But, yeah, that one is about prom. All of those kind of a similar vibe to them. And all of them are classics, certainly. Time for three things on a Friday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
We talked a little bit about Major League Baseball and a salary cap, salary floor, and all of that a little bit earlier in the program. The NFL is going to go to 18 games. George Kittle just said the quiet part out loud. He just negotiated how quickly this is going to get done. He says, if you're going to add an 18th game, you got to add an extra bye. Yeah, they're going to do that. The one thing that you didn't really make sense to me is you sign a contract to play 16 games. And remember, guys, they're paid by the game. They're not paid year-round. They're only paid on game days, game weeks. That's when they're paid. They added the 17th game. You don't get paid any more money. So if the NFL and the player and the owners want to go to 18 games, add a bye, pay them more money, and you're going to get your 18th game. Pretty straightforward. Much less complicated than the MLB.
I don't know if there's anything that's as complicated as what Major League Baseball is trying to do.
Probably fair.
Because I thought about the salary floor, the salary cap yesterday, and I thought about what the PA proposed, like competitive balance taxes, and none of it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I think, done with the intent to not take the blame for what's an impending lockout, and it's a shame that, like in all sports, greed's gotten us to this point.
Yeah.
So, my first ever in life true favorite player was Eric Davis. He was the best. Eric the Red, you just said it. Magnum 44, the poster, still iconic. Go to Foot Locker and grab one of those back in the day. I'm convinced he would have been the first 40-40 guy had he not crashed into the wall at Wrigley in 1987 when he had 37 home runs and 50 stolen bases at the time with 3 weeks left to play in the season. I remember him getting hurt in Game 1 of the 1990 World Series. He could just do it all. So it makes me feel a little old today when I hear that Eric Davis's birthday is today and he's turning 64. How is that possible?
Also, in retrospect, how is it possible at Wrigley that they had brick walls without padding? How ridiculous.
I mean, Ivy, that pads
Just Ivy's going to pad it. Absurd.
Bo, I got to tell you.
He's a stud.
A couple years ago when we were at spring training, it was a thrill for me to stand right next to him and watch batting practice, and he still looks like he could play.
I knew that was going to be the end of that story, that he could play center field right now if he needed to. Number 2 for me, so I don't have any afternoon activities, which is rare for me, so I go to the club tee sheet, and it is full. Does nobody work? Nobody works?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just free every afternoon. Everybody's free to play golf. Not a single open tee time at the club.
Friday like this in May, I think you could pull... you could pull ripcord on work, and even your boss could be like, yeah, I'm way ahead of you on that one. So the first thing was on a bit of a soapbox. The second thing I saw this last weekend, it was Apex on Netflix with Taron Egerton and Charlize Theron, where she is an adventurer and he's a serial killer and he chases her through the Australian outback. It's fine if you're looking for something to shut your brain off.
There you go.
But I've been watching Rivals on Hulu, and that's a show about British television in the 1970s and 80s. That's something that you should absolutely take time out of your day to watch.
All right. I like the idea.
Rivals you'll love. Apex,
Okay.
I want to make sure we get to this one, so I'll have this as my second thing. Rothman and Ice today. It's Memorial Week starting on Monday. They're going to have the tournament director, Dan Sullivan, on at 12:30, kind of give you a preview and get you ready for that. They'll also do some chin music with Jensen Lewis at 2:30.
That's a good read out of you. No time for 3 today. Have a great weekend. Get outside and live, kids. It's going to be a spectacular one. We're back Monday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice